felt really good almost after taking it.
They just explode.
Yosemites.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Decided to dance quite a bit more, throw my head back and laugh, especially when no one says anything funny. Yeah, it's really hard to do when I'm around. I know, but what are you gonna do? All right, I'll quit. I don't want to look totally embarrassing and inappropriate and not unsubstantial. What was her phrase? Christ. Good times, everybody. Oh boy. Let's see. Quit this. I gotta say, kids, it's a good time. We are getting down to the wire, and I have my own theories about the voting, the polling and the voting and the early vote and all this stuff, and people jumping through their shirts and saying, oh my God, there's a story that says 65% of the electorate has already voted. Yes, I believe that. And I'll tell you why. Because I think the early vote is not, oh my God, people are taking advantage of early voting. And finally, it's in large part people who have been in a situation where they've had to stand in lines for a long time and may have given up in the past. This would be the added voters. But the vast majority of the people who are voting early or who have gotten their vote in are the kind of people who vote every time or close to every time. So what this early vote is doing on both sides is cannibalizing in large part the already existing vote. Look at you, Pauline, I'm on your television set. I mean, how do I should use all the space, but I run out of green screen. We haven't, again, once we hit 500 Patreons, we'll get to the point where I can actually open my arms on the show. Piece by piece, but I feel very cool to be on your television set. I'm very proud. It's a good time. It really is. But in the course of, God, watching Steve Kornacki's breakdown and all the stuff that's going on as far as the vote itself, there is a tremendous amount of movement that the Republicans are not counting on. And again, this is always... and you're feeling good about Florida. That's a good time. From your lips to God's ears. But I will say that over the course of the next week, it's crunch time. This is going to be the time when it really matters about who's going to the polls and who's showing up. And we'll give you an indication of how things are drifting. Now, personally, I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans and BS. And undoubtedly, you're going to be in a situation where, there'll be violent poll watchers and stories of ballot boxes being set on fire and all that kind of stuff. But these are minor things that ultimately will not change, for better or worse, the overall trend of the vote. Not in any giant way. Yes, thanks to YouTube and Roku, you can see me on your television. Also, I think Twitch has an app now on some stuff, so you can also do it that way. That's a good time. Yeah, Kornacki's great at doing that stuff. The poor guy, like you could tell this was not necessarily his speciality a couple of years ago, or even 4 or 5 years ago, but he was like the near intern new guy, and they were like, throw him on the board. He seems to understand this stuff. Or he walked up and helped Ali Velshi reset the board that they use, and they were like, why don't you just do that way we can send Ali Velshi out in the field where we can get something going, So, so watching him break it down is crucial, and and like I said, the 538 numbers are very telling. This is, let me see if I can break this out here. Grab a different page to show you guys. So this is an interesting thing that is part of, not quite all of what we're gonna do the rally today as well. One of them in where the hell is this stupid one again? Martinsburg, PA. Trump seems to be only going to places where he's totally sure he's going to win, which is what you do when you're campaigning, right? You do bum rush to all the places you got locked. You don't go to, you don't fly to these other states that are on the edge. You go to the states where you're like, this is rock solid. So he's in Pennsylvania for this one. So there's this, Rasmussen does this poll on the presidential approval rating, and check this out. I found this fascinating. I'm gonna blow this up. 1,500 people, but it's a C+ poll, which I think maybe that's how 538 judges the way they, like the standard of the questions they ask, right? Maybe we can break this out and do another. Open it up. Yeah, I'll open that in the new tab later. But that puts him at a +6. This is the approval rating we have seen fairly consistently, and Rasmussen always puts this one out, and it's always about this. If you notice, he's hovered at 52%, regardless of the pandemic. Almost immaterial anything else that's going on. It's a really locked number for whatever reason, and that's the way they. Yay, Philly Dana. But then you go to the B+ ones, which are slightly better, a whole step up. And these are, let's see, this one's from the last year in November, right before what would be the election week. And this one's, just a week ago or so. And this is their B+ poll. This is, they read this one out. And his approval rating is underwater. It's 43% to 57. It's +14 disapproval rating, +10 on where it was last year. So it's up according to their look last year. So in the consistency of their poll year to year, he's underwater an extra 4 points, which is amazing. That's really the only place he had to go, quite frankly. So here's the presidential election. They got Wisconsin at Biden +9. This is Ipsos. They're calling that a B- poll, but that's really pretty solid. They've got Biden at Pennsylvania +7. They've got this extra PA one as well, different group of people, +5. Wisconsin, another one +9. Yeah, I saw the crazy guy set the ballot box on fire. You're going to see a bunch of Qs and weirdos doing that stuff because they're pissed John Jay never showed up. Unless tonight's the night. Come on, guys. Come on. Tonight's the night. John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to make his flight. All right. But check these out. PA. The insider advantage, which they call a B- one, is October 25th. This is the outlier. This is the one poll that's different from the rest. They give Trump +3 in Pennsylvania. The rest of these, YouGov, which gets a solid B, has way more people. The insider advantage has 400 people in it. They give that Trump +3. This one's got 1,350 in it. This one's got 1,500. And the morning consult has 15,000 respondents. Now, it might be the way they ask, like, do you really like Biden? I don't know how they come across. But 15,000 people, that's a solid slice. and they got him up 9. Texas is +1 here, +1. Check this out. Rasmussen has Trump +1. Again, Rasmussen's Trump's favorite poll. 1,500 people in that. It's a solid grouping of people, but the questioning on it must not be that great because they're giving it a C+ as far as its quality of poll. See what they have to say about, yeah, these are the qualities of their polls overall. And it's really, I mean, normally I don't go to websites that judge the quality of polls. But especially when it's +7, that would be +11 is worrisome. So anyways, polls are based on sampling, which might be landlines. No, a lot more of these are including, and what gives them a higher grade, according to 538, is their ability to either reach out to consistent voters who use any media, meaning they've given their cell phone number, they will text their support, or they make a phone call and it's an actual voter that they've verified. That's part of the quality thing. So you'll get up into the B+A area in that zone. Rasmussen gets a C+. They got Trump at +1 in this sucker. But look at, this is Texas. IBD Tip has them with 982 people in both of theirs at +7, 2 different separate groups. So it's the same, breakdown essentially. This A+ poll from Siena College says Trump at +4. They really think that's the sinker and that it really goes, but it's still an outlier for the rest of them because USC Dornsiff has 3 of these. They're using 5,000 people in each of these. The Siena College one, which gets an A+, whatever, has a +4 on it for Trump. I don't know why there's a more on this. Oh, because Jorgensen and Hawkins factor in. There's 3 points for Jorgensen here. This is also part of what's eating into Trump's thing, because if a bunch of people show up and Ross Perot their way through this, oh, sorry, if it's so small on your phone, yeah. The point I'm trying to make overall is that if you're the Trump campaign, let me drag this out. If you're the Trump campaign, this is some scary shit. This is, I mean, that any of these are blue in Texas is insanity. You know what I mean? Like, when were we talking about blue leaning polls in Texas with any reality at all? Thanks, Norman, and thank you, Steph, and this person can go away. There you go. And Francie, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So in this, think back to a time. There may have been an outlier. But, for the most part, nothing. Okay, so here's Florida. There's 2 ones here. They're both BCs in their rundown, most recent ones. RMG Research and Morning Consult. Morning Consult's the stronger one of the 2 and more consistent. And they've got 12,000 people in their data set. 12,000 people, and that's got Biden at +9. I mean, Massachusetts has Biden at +35. I mean, he's Catholic, so you think that would bring everybody home. Regardless. Here's another Texas one at this is earlier. This is the YouGov B at Texas at +5 with 1,000 people in it. But Public Opinion Strategies has Biden +14. Like, it's the amazing part about this is not necessarily, and these are the ones added today that they're putting in there, factoring in. This is not an indicator of, you got to vote. The people have to actually come out and vote, and their votes have to be counted, and they have to know that their votes will actually be meaningful and that people won't get their stuff thrown out. But what I think the Texas thing more than anything really, really shows is, and this is the scary thing for Republicans, is if Democrats that live in Texas see blood in the water and go, wait a minute, my vote doesn't normally count. but it really will this time. If he's up +1, I and my friends are the tipping point. That is incredible. And that's why in most polling, you either deny the polls or you really focus on the ones that you're winning from the other side if you feel like you're coming down. If one of your rock solid states is looking shaky, all those voters are like, I would vote, but really, what difference does it make? Those people start to think they might make a real impact beyond Austin and other places like that. This is pretty incredible. Which Melania will be speaking at Glen, PA tomorrow. I don't know that she'll be speaking. They have this whole thing where she's traveling with him. I don't think she spoke at the other one, or whichever Melania. Yeah. So this, you should ignore this in this regard, obviously, and just go vote. You have to vote. But the best thing about it is that you're telling that the people themselves that are in these states who are like, you know what, I don't really care. I don't really have much of a shot. This changes their minds. This is the game changer. Because once you get, and this is what happens when people start going, well, my vote counts no matter whether my side wins or not, every single time. If you actively, functionally, get out there and vote every time, you start to see that it ticks up because more people like you start doing the same because they start seeing it starts to tighten. Thank you, Jennifer. And then once it clears the actual breach where you're +1, yay, 20 shot 20, congrats for voting. Can you imagine being a Texas voter where like, my state goes, I don't even really bother anymore because it's all Republicans and it always goes Republican. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. This could be one of those 500 votes or 1,000 vote changes. And if I'm one of those votes, that's a point of pride that we went out and added that. That's a huge deal. So anyways, I'm excited about that part of it. Even if, it's a factor of the polls. The more people become aware of of polling that makes their vote matter, the more chance they'll be active. And that drives the number up. So fingers crossed, that's what starts happening. Yeah, so this is, shall we begin with our daily dose? Here we go. And by the way, I have and he's throwing his hat. Does he throw it or keep one? They gave him 2 so he could put one under the counter. He just got his hair cut, by the way. And so it looks sort of human. I don't know why he hasn't done it sooner. I don't know why they don't have somebody managing his head just as a side project. Like, Jared's got Middle East peace nailed down. Why doesn't he just go over there and deal with the do? But anyways, so. Oh yeah. Oh God! And stop! I can't play this. Zing! And he's keeping one. No, he's throw one away. That's for you. You keep that. And I'm gonna put one. Nope, he's keeping it. All right, he's throwing caution to the wind, literally. They hired a new campaign makeup artist because they've decided to blend. Have you noticed? Check that out, guys. Not working. So he's not done. He didn't. He came off of a helicopter again, and he forgot to judge the time to walk to the podium. So the song's still going on. See? He doesn't know. Jesus Christ. And I'll wander here, and I'll clap, clap, clap it, clap. And I'll clap, clap, pointy stand and fist. Hand job, hand job, hand job, point. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you. Whoa, lumber, 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 lumber. Point. Thank you. Thank you very much. And today.
We tried to come in here very low-key. We wanted to make a low-key appearance.
That's a joke. They buzzed the crowd in the helicopter.
Did anybody notice the helicopter flying?
Dude, just let it be. Like, this guy cannot leave anything alone to be cool. He has to just, like, geek it up.
A little low and real slow. Now, great.
Low and real slow. They say low and slow in the military, and he had to add the word real to it. This is such like, Grandpa, stop explaining email to the neighbors.
Greatest pilots in the world, greatest equipment in the world. That's what we have. Greatest equipment in the world. But the
and you're using it to buzz your campaign crowds.
greatest pilots, nobody can do what our pilots could do, right, Mike? Hello, Pennsylvania. Hello, Pennsylvania. 8 days from now, can you believe it? 8 days.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can't wait.
Started off 4 years ago. Remember our meetings and it was a love fest right from the beginning.
No, it wasn't. You won the state by a hair.
And now it's more so. You know what? It's more so than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you've broadened the circle. You know, the tent has gotten that much bigger.
And they're going to be finding that out very soon. They're going to be finding it out. You know, I have the ratings right over here.
The ratings?
Poll numbers. Thank you. Thank you very
I tried to empty the jar. It'll take a second. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to wake up.
much.
Read the poll. Let's see if you brought them. I just went through some.
No, Joe Biden, you know, sleepy Joe Biden said a little while ago he was in a lid. You know what a lid is? A garbage can. They put the lid on it. They put the.
You call lids too. He doesn't know where the term comes from.
And he saw we had 2 of these today. They were fantastic, different parts of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right? And we had 2 of them. And Sleepy Joe was down there, and they said, "You got to get out of this basement." So he traveled from Delaware to a little tiny corner of Pennsylvania, like right next to Delaware.
Yeah, who cares if it's not highly populated or whatever?
And he made a speech. And he said that he doesn't do these kind of rallies because of COVID.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do that because nobody shows up. That's why.
Because Democrats aren't stupid, and we're not going to stand in a shoulder-to-shoulder crowd when we already know how we're voting.
Nobody shows up.
Yeah. Nobody. Why? He wouldn't ask anyone to. Nobody goes to your parties. I don't have parties. Yeah, but nobody would if you had them. How was your party the other night? Cops came. Only 2 people were shot, though.
COVID. That's all they talk about, the fake news. COVID. That's all they talk about, what progress we've made on it.
You're right. They shouldn't talk about just COVID. They should talk about the fact that the recession started in February, that manufacturing's down to levels it hasn't been since 1941, that you're set to add half the jobs Jimmy Carter added, and that your Justice Department has just taken a giant shit on both of your star cases you wanted against Hillary Clinton and against the Obama administration. That would be good. They could cover that too.
We understand it. We know we have to protect our seniors, especially when they have heart, when they have diabetes.
Yeah, any old person with a heart, clearly they're vulnerable
Problems.
to Democrats.
And we are protecting them. We have the best testing in the world. That's why we show so many cases, because we do more testing than anybody else.
No. If you do a lot of testing, but the cases are actually going down, you'll have a positivity rate that's lower. It's the positivity rate that's worrisome.
But we're doing great, and
Yeah, it feels great.
excuse me, here I am, right? I'm here too.
What?
I didn't feel so good one day.
Oh, that.
One day I didn't feel.
I thought he was going with the whole, and I flew in, am I not the president? I won, proves everything I do is good.
Exactly great, Mike, our great congressman. But I didn't feel exactly great, and
You just told a story yesterday that you can't walk down a flight of steps without being wiped out when you get in the beast without COVID.
I said, "What's the story, Doc, sir?" You've
He literally told a story about a spiral staircase coming out of the ass of Air Force One that was going to cost $50 million because he was winded every time he walked down the stairs from the plane.
Tested positive. I said, positive for what, Doc? Tell me.
It's not an IQ rating, if that's
You know, and I say this,
Wait a minute. Is that an AIDS joke?
what, Doc? I said, what's the story, Congressman? But I didn't feel exactly great, and I said, what's the story, Doc? Sir, you've tested positive. I said, positive for what, Doc? Tell me.
Yeah. That's a man expecting. I'm going to go with syphilis, actually, but.
And, you know, and I say this, a president, if you're doing your job, you can't stay in the basement of the White House. You can't.
No one ever asked you to. This is the,
stay in a basement. You can't stay in a beautiful bedroom upstairs. You can't do that. You got to do your job. And I'd have many days I'd say, I haven't met a lot of people today. There's got to be something going. But one day they came back, and these doctors were so great. And there are a lot of them. There's so many doctors, you know, when you're
doctor for a bit different part of your body. He has been road testing this piece of material. This little tiny. There's a doctor that touches my dick, and there's a doctor that sticks his finger in my ass. This is the shtick of the president of the United States right now.
president. There's so many doctors. And I had 12 doctors. Can you believe it? I've never had 12. I've had 1 or 2, but I've never had 12. And each one was a specialist, different parts of the body. And they would grab my body, and I hated it. I hated it. I said, get your hands off me, doctors. But let's make me feel good. And we took
He's going to be awesome in an old folks home.
something that was like incredible, Regeneron.
That's a company, not a.
And I don't know, maybe I would have just been perfect just by doing nothing, but who the hell wants to take
Yeah, why didn't we roll those dice?
a chance? And I woke up.
Why didn't you deny treatment? If it's not good enough for the American people, it's not good enough for me. I don't want to be put to the front of the line. No treatment. I'll shake it off. It's all a hoax anyways.
The next morning, and I felt like Superman.
No, you didn't. Superman can see his dick. I mean, technically he has X-ray vision, so even if he had it, never mind.
Get me back! Get me back! Get me back! And the First Lady had it, right? First Lady had it. And
She felt like Superman too. As a matter of fact, she said one of my body men looks a lot like him, and she felt like him. So we let him stay for the weekend.
did great. She's great. She is popular too. People like her. They love Melania, but she had it. Doesn't complain about things. And then of course Barron had it. Now with Barron, you know, young, strong immune system, he had it. I said, "What's the story, Doc, with Barron?" "Sir, he tested positive." Like 15 minutes later, "How's Barron doing?" "Sir, it's gone." So you have to get back to school. We have to get back to school, Pennsylvania. You know, you have a governor.
Sorry, I was brooming a troll.
You have a governor. You have a governor who doesn't, you know, want us to do anything in Pennsylvania because did you see the poll just came out? We're up 2 and another one we're up 4. Because you watch, I have a whole list of the polls that just came out.
Sure.
But 8 days from now, we're going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we're going to win 4 more years in our great White House. Just a few hours from now, the Senate will vote to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court. That was a good choice, wasn't it? I've never seen any. I'm glad she's not running for president. I'd much rather go.
So he's taking the Insider Advantage poll. These are the newest ones. This is Pennsylvania. This is the aggregate of polls right here. These are the new ones. These are the the added ones. There you go. So +7, Biden +5. There's one outlier that's a negative. That's a B-. That's got Trump at +3. That's probably the one he's talking about. And they probably have inside kiss-ass polls that they show them because they only show them good news. Biden +7, Biden +8, Biden +6, Biden +8, Biden +7, Biden +7, Biden +5. So, and then October 22nd, there's two that that Trump was +2. That was from March and February, beg your pardon. The newest one is Biden +5. It was even between the two of them, April. Then it's gone towards Biden within the margin of error. And public polling, which is it's a smaller poll but more consistent, I guess, 890 in that one. Whoops, right there, 890. So that's got Biden at +5 in that one. These are all the recent ones. October 21st. That's a lot of blue. There's the parity. That's what he's talking about too. October 20th. Oh, that's a House. Never mind. General election still got Biden +2 and +3. Still within the margin of error. Not good. Don't like it because it's sketchy as shit. But they're showing him good news because they want him to be happy, and he's got to make these things. It's the same thing that's going on in Texas. He has to make the people in Pennsylvania that are voting for him think there's a chance.
Joe, much easier. Now she's fantastic, a fantastic person, fantastic woman, a great student. Her great professor at Notre Dame said, and he's been teaching a long time, a lot of great legal minds he's taught. He said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. That was
why does she have a B rating from the bar?
enough for me. That was a highly respected person. He's a highly respected man. He said, "Sir, she's the greatest student I've ever had."
Barack Obama's a highly respected man. Probably got a higher respectability rating worldwide than that guy. I don't doubt that he seems like a decent fellow, I suppose.
Judge Barrett is one of our nation's most brilliant legal minds. She'll defend our rights, our liberties, and our God-given freedoms. And you saw that. And we were all watching in great amusement as she was so-called grilled by the opposition. That was easy, right? That was easy. That was like one of our great football teams from the area, plenty of them, playing a high school football team. That was really something.
Just insert whatever your favorite team is. I don't really know. I can't be bothered. It's like your team of ball throwing people, if they were playing, and they're grown people, and they were throwing points, at children. It was like that. It's a great analogy. I do have the best words. Christ almighty. This is so stupid. This is your analogy? Wait.
Position. That was easy, right? That was easy. That was like one of our great football teams from the area, plenty of them, playing a high school football team. That was really something. Judge Barrett will be the third.
Just blazed by one guy laughing like, "Ha ha, good one, boss." Just way back in the crowd, and everybody else like, "Did you understand what the shit he was talking about?" I get an extra $3 if I yell, "Good one, boss."
Supreme Court Justice.
Did I get some sleep? Not really. I woke up at 4 a.m.
Along with almost 300, right around the number, by the time we end the first term, I'll have 300, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, federal judges that we've confirmed to uphold our laws and our Constitution. And part of that was that Barack Hussein Obama allowed me to have 142.
Boo. He didn't allow you to. Mitch McConnell ran interference.
We started with 142 empties. I don't think anybody's ever had
empties. Like milk bottles.
You don't do that. But he left me 142. Couldn't get them confirmed. To this day, Joe Biden refuses to release his list of names. Got to lift, it's more than just a pack in the court. He's got to say, who's he going to put on?
No, he doesn't. Because
we can't have radical left justices that are going to destroy our nation. And we will be very, very careful.
I don't doubt it, CSL.
As to who we choose. I left a list of 45. I had a list of 25. And now I added 20 names to all top scholars, top scholars. And
well, I mean, Can you really say that about Ted Cruz? I mean, after what you said about his wife and he let you say it?
Amy was one of them, took Amy off. And the fact is, you have no idea. A lot of people say I won because of the Supreme Court, because they didn't know who I'd pick, and I gave a list, and I said, I'll pick somebody like this. And then
The Federalist Society gave you that.
said, that's not good enough. Got to pick somebody in that list. So ultimately, it's a list of 25, all great scholars, all people that believe in something known as the Constitution, if that's okay. I don't think his list will.
A little something like the Constitution, and I think it goes a little bit like this. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo.
And
I like it when he tries to be cute about things.
they say that that was a big part of the reason that we won the election 4
Well, yeah, it wasn't. That was the single reason why they were willing to look past you being a serial sexual assaulter.
years ago. And he has to do the
Yeah, I saw the Peggy Noonan thing. I referenced it.
same thing. He's got to not only agree to not pack the court, or you can't put him on, it would be terrible. Terrible for our nation.
No, you could have the same number of judges that there are circuits. That's fine.
Even Justice Ginsburg said you can't do that. You can't have 9 is the right number.
Yeah, totally.
We have a Senate. We have a House, a lot of people. 9 is the right number. 9 great people, that's the right number. But he's got to agree to not pack the court.
Why?
He's got to agree to give us a list of 5.
Why? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He's up everywhere. Nobody's going, I don't know, I'm on the fence. There's not a single state in this country where anybody is going, yeah, but I need to see what the names are. Because, I mean, he's just going to rush them through and it won't matter who, literally, this is him protecting the presidency for himself by basically saying we're going to lose the Senate and we're not going to get the House back. That's what we're projecting. And so I need for my fight to know what list he's going to do so that I can affect that, some of those Senate races maybe, but to definitely protect myself. He thinks it's going to help him.
10 or 20 or 30 or 40. Got to have people to pick from. And if you don't have that list, you can't vote for them. And
yeah, I don't know how anybody... Oh, sorry, Trump's too loud? I turned it down in there. I'm sorry. Beg your pardon.
you can't vote for another reason. Because during the debate, I'm sure nobody watched the debate. Did anybody watch the debate? Remember? The last question was like Perry Mason. It was just like Perry Mason. It was at the end. He was doing great. This guy was doing so wonderful. Not really. I mean, meaning he was getting through. And then the last one, I said, so you don't want oil, Joe? Well, yes, we want to get ourselves off of oil. And how about Kristen, who I thought treated me good?
It was that the gotcha? It was like Perry Mason. Remember that Perry Mason episode where he had the guy, sir, how do you feel about oil? And the guy was on the stand sweating and going, well, I don't know. I suppose we have to phase ourselves off it. Ha ha! Your Honor, I rest my case. About what? About the future. What about it? Well, then we're going to use oil forever. Who thinks that? I don't know. Me? Sit your dumb ass down.
I did. I thought she compared to Chris.
By the way, that was the whole story. That was the it's like Perry Mason moment. That was the whole thing. Now he's back on Kristen Welker.
Wallace much better, right?
Maybe he'll come back. We'll see.
Chris Wallace, I was fighting 2 people. But no, I thought she treated us good. And frankly, she went in and she said, why did you say that to him? And that's when he really blew it. So basically, he's not going to allow you to frack, and you have 1 million jobs, energy jobs, probably.
No. Tons of people in Pennsylvania don't give a rat's ass about fracking.
More than that. And it's a big part of our
Thanks,
nation, what you
Skater.
do. People don't realize that about Pennsylvania, but fracking is a very big deal. Who are you pointing to?
We got one guy over here who's a fracker.
Oh,
Oh, there's some frackers.
oh, look at that. Whoa. Oh,
Hail
boy,
Hydra.
the coal miners, right? The coal miners. Dig we must. Dig we must. Clean coal. I don't call it coal. I call it clean coal. They can do more with coal now. Thank you very much. Remember when Hillary, she said, we will stop all coal miners. We will never dig coal again. And then 4 weeks later, she ended up in West Virginia. That did not work out well for her. That was not good.
That big Trump supporter dude that I was telling you about who had black lung and wanted government help with his black lung. Remember him? Murray from Murray Energy. Dead. He died. He died either yesterday or today. Murray Energy CEO dead. He died of black lung. Yeah, there he is. Robert Murray. Huge Trump supporter. He's dead. Remember me referencing this dude? Yeah, he died of black lung. When he was young, he was a digger. But yeah. Started his career working as an underground coal miner, worked his way through the ranks to executive positions, had been for a long time. Yeah. So it was all this talk about who's going to vote for him, and he's going to vote for Trump again, still supporting him, but he wanted government funds that he had denied other coal miners to treat his black lung, and that he was basically not going to make it, and he knew he wasn't going to make it, and he just died. So rest in peace. Sorry for his family, but the world lost another Trump voter today.
Remember, she was trying to explain that she was just kidding, just like he's doing, just like Sleepy Joe's doing. He was just kidding. But he's down, and if that doesn't win us, we just had a poll come out, we're +2 now, but we should be a lot more than that. I'm not happy with +2. I don't like +2.
Because it's the only one, all the rest say +7 and +8 for Biden.
It's an honor. You do a great job. Dig we must. Dig we must. And we brought it back. We're selling now coal to Vietnam and many, many places.
Yeah, all these countries that still burn coal because we phased it out. Where do you think the fracking jobs are coming from? Coal miners are going to fracking jobs. Fracking jobs then transition, hopefully, into renewables.
This is from, are you coal miners from Pennsylvania? Good. Good. That's good.
Come and listen, ye fellows, so young and so fine, and seek not your fortune way down in the mines. Right.
Well, you're not going to be voting for Joe Biden, that I can tell you. Not
yeah, a bunch of them are.
like he's a sophisticated environmentalist. He was told to do this. Our opponent's agenda is one of doom and gloom and...
What? He doesn't care about the environment. He's just following orders.
Depression, decline, and despair. Our agenda is one of unlimited optimism. We want to be optimistic. Remember during the debate, he said it will be a dark winter. No, it's going to be a beautiful winter. It's going to be a beautiful spring.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And it'll certainly be uncluttered by people.
Okay, our country is coming back stronger than anybody would have thought. And you have to get your governor to open up your state, what this guy is doing. We had one site where we had a site, it was a big site, beautiful.
Right, you get black lung, and you get black lung, and you get cancer, and you get cancer. Everybody gets cancer.
Site, and he made sure that...
Did he just say orange gender? What? Is that his...
They didn't...
Did he say?
Stronger than anybody would have thought. And you have to get your governor to open up your state, what this guy is doing. We had one site where we had a site, it was a big site, beautiful site, and he made sure that they didn't do it. We had to go around scouting out for sites. So now, first, this is my third one, all in Pennsylvania. But this governor, but we're going to remember it. But the problem is, how is he going to be the one when he tries to play games with sites that counts ballots, right? He counts ballots.
Because he doesn't give a shit about the politics of it. It's about the gatherings and keeping the people of his state safe. He doesn't give a shit about the ballots. They all get counted. How they go is how they go. This is just ridiculous. Asshole, your followers are going to kill other voters. That's his concern.
It's the governor.
Why doesn't he? Why, if the Reverend Some Young Moon wanted to do a 1,000-person one-day wedding, he wouldn't let him? Is it because he has something against the Washington Times or whatever?
And then they sued us because they didn't want to have poll watchers. You know what a poll watcher is? They
Yeah, a dude with a gun who's trying to scare people from voting.
watch you count the votes. What's wrong with that if you're doing it straight? So we're in court, and we had a Pennsylvania judge who said, oh, you shouldn't have poll watchers. Can you believe that?
Yeah, because people take an oath to count the votes. They're legitimate people. You have no grounds to lord over them or take pictures of them and go, if we lose Pennsylvania, it's because of Gary and Sarah and Sam and Alicia, and these are their faces, and they live in this neighborhood. You know, like, let you dox a bunch of people who are just volunteering
Actually lost the first case, but
with a bunch of psychopaths.
we'll go up, and we'll end up in the Supreme Court. The other thing, they want to be able to drag out the
Hosted
election
Radio.
long beyond the 3rd. Well, in all fairness,
Louis DeJoy should be run through the mail himself. Go, tell you what, Louis, you can go anywhere you want in the country, but you have to go through the mail. You have to fit through a slot, and we will make you. And however long it takes, it takes.
this is a very
That would speed it up, I think.
important place, right? And we can't drag it out. We don't want to drag out any longer. So
No, just a couple extra days because of your dude slowing down the mail and the fact that there's a lot of mail-in ballots, and people will mail them on the day. And if they get them, why would you give a shit? If you think they're going to be for you, why would you give a shit?
we are in lots of court having to do with this
We are in lots of court.
and having to do with many states.
We are in lots of court having to do with this and many states. Jesus Christ.
About 5 of them. And so far, we've had a lot of good victories. And we'll
No, you haven't.
continue because we're not going to let this election be taken away from us. That's the only way they're going to win it.
Again, the only way this argument makes any sense is if you're winning all the polls. And he's so not. It's goofy. Nobody even in his crowd thinks this.
Not going to let it
Not
happen.
legit. They'll clap, but they
For the
don't.
last
They're like, yeah, we're going to win. But they're not like, yeah, this is totally going to be stolen. What?
half century, 47 years, Joe Biden has been outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in ridiculous, endless foreign wars, countries you never even heard of for the most part.
For the most part.
Now Joe Biden is trying to ban fracking and deliver an economic death sentence for Pennsylvania's energy sector.
No, he isn't. He just said it again today. Like, I'm not freezing oil and stopping fracking. You're not going to have fracking on federal lands anymore. So we're not handing out leases to private companies to mine public lands, so kiss my ass. You have to go buy the land if there's something under it and prospect it. We're not going to finance you prospecting land. No. We're not going to lease it out so you can punch holes in it where the aquifers are, because that's why we claimed federal lands in the first place, is because that's where the water is. The blood and treasure thing is Iraq. That's what he's talking about.
You can't allow this to happen. But here's the thing. For a year, I
What's the
watched him
thing?
saying, there will be no fracking.
No, you didn't. This is like people with shit in their ears, everything sounds like a turd.
Right? We saw so with the Democrats, right? The radical left.
What's yeah, is that the sign language for Democrats? This kind of weirdness? What do they look like? You mean all the people standing on the stage?
Democrats. They're all screaming, no fracking, every one of them. They couldn't scream loud enough. Then he gets a nomination because Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, refused
Boo-hoo.
to get out. No, had she gotten out, then Crazy Bernie would have been our opponent.
And I could have run against him, and I think I could have won, and I'm still running against him, even though he's a different guy. Damn it.
But I think I like Joe better because there's no energy.
Oh, yeah? There's no energy? Should we look at some of the energy in a bit? I think we should.
I like Joe. No, Bernie had a little energy, small base, lots of energy. And we had a lot of his people, you know, a lot of them with Crooked Hillary. Bernie, he gets, I won't use it because they have very young people here. He gets taken advantage of by Hillary, and then he gets
The word he keeps saying is screwed, allegedly what he's
taken advantage of by the Democrats the last time with mostly Elizabeth Warren and the others. They ganged up on him. And he goes back and he goes into the Senate. I think he's the greatest loser. He's a good loser. He's a good sport. Crazy Bernie. And in the last week's debate, Joe Biden confirmed his plan to abolish the entire U.S. oil industry. That's right. And that's why Kristen said, why are you doing this? Because she's on his side, because that's NBC, owned by Concam, not C-O-M. So she's on his side. She's saying, why are you doing this? If you really look, it's almost pleading. Sir, why are you doing this? And I'm saying, just be quiet, Kristen. No, that's what happens. That's right. That's what happened to Perry Mason. Remember, the guy was always great. Then at the end, I did it. That was Sleepy Joe. That's what happened. You don't need a president like that. That means no fracking, no natural gas.
Again, hold on.
No coal, no jobs.
What?
No energy, no Pennsylvania families.
No grass, no trees, no helicopters, no people. Flags are out.
Well taken care of. Fracking is saving Pennsylvania families $2,500 a year, at least.
Saving them?
And it's saving families all over the country. We are energy.
Oh, he means because of natural gas prices. So let's see. Biden spoke at. He went to a field office today. He made a really interesting point. Let's show this real quick. This isn't that long, I don't think.
I'm going to go to Iowa. I'm going to Wisconsin. I'm going to Georgia.
They jumped in on this one. So here, he stopped by a campaign office in Pennsylvania.
Florida, and maybe other places as well. There's a lot we've been doing as well in terms of being online and everything from fundraising efforts to making sure we meet. I met today with a group of leaders in the Democratic Party, laying out where we're going to go, getting their input and the like. So we're constantly, there's not been a day that hadn't been a 12-hour day yet.
Yeah, he's working on transition already. That's part of what the thing is. They put a lid on, but he's out doing stuff. He's having these big conversations. But the reason he's having these, you don't have the press there when you're, having a meeting on the phone or in person or via teleconference with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and everybody and your, and your campaign people and Kamala's campaign people that work with her and everybody, looped in there. Yeah, he'll make a trip to Texas. I bet you he will.
Standing in states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin,
Just not Dallas, if you know what I mean.
Michigan, to be expanding the map and traveling to Iowa.
No, I'm not, you know me. I am not overconfident about anything. I just want to make sure we can earn every vote possible. That's why we're here. And you know that blue wall is has to be reestablished. With the grace of God and the goodwill of the neighbors, I'm going to win Pennsylvania. It's a matter of a great deal to me, personally as well as politically. I think we're going to win Michigan. I think we're going to win Wisconsin. I think we're going to win Minnesota. I think we have a fighting chance in Ohio. I think we have a fighting chance in North Carolina. We have a fighting chance in Georgia, a fighting chance in Iowa. So fortunately, because of over 6 million individual voters, average contribution $49, we're able to compete like we haven't been able to compete before in all these different states. So that's why I said we're going to be traveling, continue to travel. But the big difference between us and the reason why it looks like we're not traveling, we're not putting on super spreaders. We are doing what we're doing here. Everybody's wearing a mask and trying as best we can to be socially distanced. And that's what we're doing. You've attended a number of our press conferences as well. It's important to be responsible.
Mr. Vice President, you mentioned just a minute ago there that as part of your commission, you would look at how long justices serve on the court. Does that mean that you're open to term limits?
No. There is a question about whether or not it's a lifetime appointment. I'm not going to attempt to change that at all. There's some literature among constitutional scholars about the possibility of going from one court to another court, not just always staying the whole time on the Supreme Court. But
so what he's talking about is, so you guys are caught up, that you get a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, but there's like a sub-court to the, like the Ninth Circuit kind of idea where once you get a little older, you go into the review process so that you're not 100 years old, but you can retire out and basically you can advise legally, and it does have grounds, the actual Supreme Court. If you reach, if you're getting 85 years old, you can retire at that point, or even younger. I would guess 80 probably is what they're going to shoot for. And then you would move to an advisory tier of the Supreme Court, which exists, which looks at cases and advises the actual Supreme Court whether or not they should take some up, and they will provide a breakdown of the legitimacy and the standing of the court, so that they don't have to do all that stuff. It heads off some of the other the cases that they would have going their way, and as far as the time that it deals with. So there you go.
I have made no judgment. My words about made no judgment. They're just a group of serious constitutional scholars, have a number of ideas how we should proceed from this point on. And
he's just trying to scare the Republicans, and it's smart to do.
That's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to give them 180 days, God willing, if I'm elected, from the time I'm sworn in, to be able to make such a recommendation.
Mr. Biden, how important is the... Do you have any reaction to President Trump planning an event outside, an outdoor event at the White House tonight to celebrate the anticipated confirmation of Judge Barrett?
Look,
She says, do you have any feeling about the super spreader event that Trump's going to hold with Amy Coney Barrett at the White House tonight to celebrate? And then right as she asks that question, the church bells ring. If that's not telling, I don't know what is. Wants the quote to be usable, so he's like, how long is this going to run?
if you have children and you're raised, all parents are taught that the example you set impacts on how your kids react. When you're a boss of an operation, the example you set, what you do, matters to the rest of the company. Well, the words of a president and the actions of a president, they matter. They matter a great deal. And when the President of the United States puts on these super spreader events, you saw what happened when she was announced. All the people, including his family, thank God they seem to be okay. All the people came down with...
Well, we don't know. Because that whole, like, the first lady has a lingering cough, and then all of a sudden she's traveling, and then the woman they put in the friggin' helicopter is not Melania. I mean, I don't dig into, like, too many conspiracy theories, but that was pretty ham-fisted. It was pretty lame.
I just hope he is willing to have learned a lesson, and there will be significant social distancing. I don't blame him for...
I like how polite he is, and I like the fact that he's going the extra mile, and I think it appeals to a lot of steady voters, and I think a lot of people are aware that, you know, it's not because he doesn't take this stuff very seriously, but just being a blathering shit talker like the president gets us nowhere.
Celebrated.
Yeah,
there's a lot
nowhere.
of things we could be doing, having massive crowds, but the fact is that it's just not appropriate now. And so I just hope he and the vice president and others act with some dispatch and do it what everybody knows. People should be tested first before they even show up, number one. Number two,
and not on site.
they should be wearing masks. Number three, they should be socially distanced. And number four, it shouldn't be a huge crowd, whether it's outside or not. Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.
Let's load up.
This is a crowd people that gathered when he was over there clapping and that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, this is what, like, Trump thinks that's sleepy. Seriously, it's embarrassing.
Independent, and you're a big part of it.
And because he doesn't understand, because all he has is rage and pestilence. I almost said pestilence. Like, he just complains, and if you're not complaining, that it doesn't, like, he's a squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of a guy. He's been a whiner his entire life, and you know, Biden's just, that's not the job of a president.
And they want to end that. They want to go to wind. Do you love wind? A nice windmill right alongside of your house. Your house is now worthless.
Why the hell does he think they're worthless? And where does he think, by the way, that these wind farms are amongst a lot of houses? Have you ever driven through the areas you know, on the, especially out here on the West Coast, where they've had a bunch of, where they've, you know, they've got rows of them. There's nothing else around the land. It's not like there's tons of birds because there's not a lot of trees, frankly. There's a lot of nothing. But it's kind of beautiful. Like you go through there and they're spinning and it's really awesome.
You know, when those windmills go up and they're near your house, I know a lot about wind.
Yeah, I've heard from people in the world.
It costs many, many, many times the energy that we're talking about.
No, it doesn't.
Many, many times.
Yeah, but you don't pay in the back end for the pollution. See, the thing is with wind is that there's no cleanup costs that the taxpayer has to do to get the shit out of the groundwater. There's no mining poisoning. There's no toluene. There's no benzene. There's no mercury. There's no, you know. We pay for that shit.
Like 32 cents versus 3 cents, whether it's natural gas or other things. But
no.
Many, many times.
Nobody pays 3 cents for any metric of energy.
But you put up a windmill. If you want to see a bird graveyard, go under a windmill sometime. You will see a graveyard. You will see it.
Yeah, you want to see a fish graveyard? Check a river downstream from a coal facility, especially, or a fracking facility, or an oil facility.
Your birds. Got a lot of problems, okay? And it needs subsidy, massive subsidy. You don't want to be giving
So did oil in the beginning.
Subsidy to energy when the
okay, cool. Then Biden just said, pull the oil companies' subsidies. They don't need any help from us anymore.
No reason.
Yeah, I saw that, the zombie one of Biden that they put up. It's just cheap. Like, they're just taking stuff from like right-wing sites and going, hey, you mind if we use your cut? Like,
so he wants wind and he wants solar. I like solar too, but it still isn't developed. And solar's not going to power your big, powerful plants, which we have.
No, it's, and this is this asshole not understanding the concept of net zero.
To have in order to compete and beat the rest of the world. It's just not going to do it, and neither is wind. And neither is wind. He will eradicate Pennsylvania energy production and send your state into a crippling depression. That's what it's going to be, because energy is such a big... People just don't know that, Mike, about Pennsylvania. It's a big, big energy state.
Totally.
Be amazed. You know, it's funny, Texas, so he's against oil.
And guns and God, right? This is the thing.
Against guns, Second Amendment.
Hey, asshole, you're talking to Pennsylvania. Talk to Pennsylvania. They say all politics are local. This asshole can't stay local for 10 friggin' minutes. It's so
and he's
weird.
Against God. So he goes, and then they say, President...
I want to show you guys something.
When I first announced...
Hold on. So, the Trump campaign can't afford ads. And it's one thing that they can't... I mean, it looks like a sketch that I'm doing dressed as him. I get it. But you have to understand, the campaign itself can't afford ads. They can't cut them. They borrow them from other sites. He's playing Bernie's primary ads at his website. Literally, they have no money to pay editors, and editors aren't going to take, they're not, because they got to spend any money that they have on actually placing the ads. So editors aren't going to cut it. They've all learned their lesson. So they can't get any new ads done. So he does these just one-take monologue things. He's in the Rose Garden. This is a Hatch Act violation. He's shooting this little, he calls it the Donald Trump vlog, America First. But this is an ad, this is a campaign. Check this shit out. This is 1 minute and 29 seconds.
When I first announced I was going to run for president...
Okay, why did my... Okay, I don't know why my headphones stopped working for a second.
5 years
There we go.
ago, I had a theme. It was a great theme. It was a theme that obviously worked, but the truth is I made it work also because we followed that theme.
It wasn't good. It was me that was good. Which just tells you that he knows America First was not his original idea, or somebody's brought it up recently that it was a Reagan thing and it's been attached to other, Nazi movements and shit like that. But also that even to him, his campaign has thought up this shit. And so they, somebody went, we're going to use America First. We're going to use this. and he wants to take credit for it.
Make America great again. Sounds simple, but isn't it beautiful? And that's what we've done. And then we got hit with the plague. We closed it up. We said,
Listen to the background music. This is like, it's Jared and Ivanka's recital music.
millions of lives, and now we've opened it up and we have a super V. Our economy is recovering faster than any economy in the world. And we went down proportionately less than any economy in
The rest of the world isn't recovering. The rest of the world isn't focused on recovery. The rest of the world is focused on dealing with the virus and getting through it. This asshole is sprinting in a marathon and thinks he's winning.
the world. But we
And it does sound like generic.
have another thing that we did that a lot of people don't quite understand, but
Okay. What a lot of people don't quite understand, but they know. We have another thing.
another thing that we did that a lot of people don't quite understand, but
Don't quite understand. Well, then why? How is it marketing genius if a lot of people don't quite understand?
they know something big happened. And the something big was America first.
Yeah, that's what the something big was. They don't quite understand what the hell you're talking about.
We put
Bing, bong, ding, ding, bong, bing, beep, boop.
America first for the first time in decades and decades.
Oh, sorry. Is he louder on this one? I apologize. Sorry, the video.
America first. And I tell leaders of other countries, you should put your country first. When they hear America,
Dude, stick to the fucking script. It's 1:29 minutes. You got 27 seconds to bring it home. Stop wandering.
first, it doesn't sound nice. But you know what? I tell them, I'm putting America first. You should put your country first, whatever the country may be. But for us, it's America first, and it always will be.
That's the ad. And basically, they just cut a one line through a graphic up on the end because nobody will do the work for them. And I bet you anything, the taxpayers paid for the transcription at the bottom for they found some legal loophole. Excuse me, legal loophole that allows them to pay for anything the president says to be transcribed on screen for the hearing impaired, that kind of stuff. Yeah, just ugh. That's and like they put that out. That's an ad, and it's hideous looking.
Trump is 4 points up in Texas, and the governor calls me from Texas. Great guy, Greg. He said, "Sir, that's not true. You're up a lot." But they don't say that. But think of it. You're against oil. We're in Texas. You're against oil. You're against God. You're against guns. In Texas, guns in Texas. Trump is up 4 points. It's a very close race. No. Same thing here. Because you have the same thing. And you could really say the same thing.
So you're basically saying that people of Pennsylvania cling to their guns and their God when they feel I see.
Almost to a little bit lesser extent.
Almost to a little bit lesser extent. Great. Explain to the people of Pennsylvania what they like. Tell them.
But the Texas was just amazing.
The Texas was just amazing. Well said, sir. The best words are yet to come. I don't know.
So that's
if
why
you
I said
can
at the
be
end,
dumber than you are.
a bit lesser extent. But the Texas was just amazing. So that's why I said.
Why is my headset being so weird?
At the end, Texas and Pennsylvania. I hope you're looking, and I hope you're listening. And that goes for Ohio, and it goes for Oklahoma.
Like, okay, he's just about to list a bunch of states where he's seen polls where he's either close or losing, and he's pissed and freaked out.
And it goes for a lot of other places.
Why Oklahoma?
So, we had polls because the fake news is always given fake numbers, They're really called, they're suppression polls.
Oh yeah, so this is not a suppression poll. This is the poll. Here we go.
So here they are, all brand new. Rasmussen, did you ever hear of Rasmussen?
Yeah, what I say. That's the one he's
It's a
grabbed.
very highly regarded poll. So over there, we're at 53 and 52. That means
That's his approval rate.
it's hard to lose you when you're at 53 or 52. So Rasmussen, and that's national. That's not, what I'm doing.
Not Pennsylvania, you
I
mean?
go to places like Hillary used to campaign in California when it doesn't matter. Although if I were California, I'd vote for Trump because the place is going to hell. All right?
Yeah, one of the reasons it's going to hell is because of all the federal lands that are not being managed and are on fire.
I would vote for Trump. I would.
Yeah, you would, because you're an asshole. It's why you don't live in California, because you'd be a pariah.
Vote for Trump. Taxes are too high. Crime is too high. New York, taxes are too high. People are fleeing. Crime is too high. I put out, vote for Trump. Remember? African American, I said the same thing. Vote for Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? That was last election. Now, we are doing so incredibly well with the African American, the black community, and the Hispanic community.
Okay. Then read that off the polls then.
No, it's unbelievable.
You have a piece of paper in front of you. Reference it. Go, I got it right here.
They get it.
Do they? Because you're talking about this like I met Candace Owens and she brought some people and didn't have to pay them very much to show up at the White House. And Kanye West liked me before he didn't like me. We're doing very well.
We did criminal justice reform. We did prison reform.
Black people stuff. Jesus Christ, man. Shit. Ah, God. How does this asshole, how is it that he can't get 2 frigging sentences out without equating black people and criminals? Jesus Christ, oh boy.
We did the historically black colleges and universities.
We paid them off, so I never had to talk to those people again.
What we've done.
Here's a good idea. This is an interesting part. I'm just going to say, let's just say Hal Sparks is your president, for shits and giggles. And good evening, America. As your president, I today issued a budgetary executive order to finance historically black colleges and universities for 10 years. It was standard operating procedure that the HBCUs would come to get their funding year by year. And meeting with the administration every year, they would express their concerns about issues they had in their community, about the education base that they found black young people in this country in as they tried to move up into the university and college system. And through those dialogues, we would move to address some of the shortfalls in the public education system, both to help them guide those students into higher education, but also to look at the flaws, the primary and secondary school systems. Today, because I have signed an executive order funding those schools for the next 10 years, those mandatory meetings are not necessary for budgetary reasons. However, I have requested of them, and certainly my administration is focused on this as well, and they've said yes, that we would not only continue to have our yearly meeting about these things and addressing these concerns, even though they are funded, but we are going to have 2 meetings a year as a group, as a roundtable to check in. Whereas before they would come once a year, we are going to meet biannually and look into the structure of the semesters going into the year and coming out again, as there are a multitude of changes that happen to children as they're coming up in the modern era with social media and electronic learning and all sorts of other tools. If there's a way we can adapt some of these things to improve things because things move so fast in a modern technological era, we will do those. So instead of meeting just once, we're going to meet twice a year as a group. They are very busy people, or I'd meet with them every quarter. And I appreciate them for doing that. And just because we've agreed to fund them doesn't mean they're off the hook from working with this administration. We look forward to the next meeting with them. How hard is that? Yeah, I'm going to spend my 60s in public service. That's my goal. So let's be abundantly clear. That's what you do. But you know what he did? He funded them and never met with them again. Are you from Kentucky? Please establish residence there and kick McConnell's ass out of office. It's not a bad idea. Voila! Seriously, how difficult is that? Honestly, how difficult is that? Not at all. Yeah, when I turn 60, I'll be in a van down by the river. Voila! So that's what you do. That's what you do. I'm going to fund these organizations, but we're still going to meet. As a matter of fact, we're going to meet biannually. Did he do that? Nope. He paid them off so he never, with taxpayer money, so he never has to sit in a room with them, so he can deal with the actual points that they have to deal with in the education system every single year.
Opportunity zones with the great Tim Scott.
You know, black senator. Jesus Christ. Yeah, believe me, there's a reason why he name checks Tim Scott. Not only the fact that he's the only black Republican senator, but also that none of the other senators give a rat's ass about any of this stuff. Like, I'm sure they get lip service from, you know, Mitt Romney and Susan Collins about it to some degree, but they're not going to take any steps. You're kidding, right?
Carolina. We've done so much, and now
we're almost going to have one fewer black senator.
Black community is strong with us. We had a poll today at 40. Nobody knows what that means.
Nobody knows what it means. I think it's 10 times 4. It's more than 39, less than 41. Nobody knows what 40 means?
Nobody knows what that means. That's a number that nobody's heard of with respect to the Republican. We should be much higher than that. Joe Biden is...
What, 40% of black people support you? Or support the Republican Party? No. I mean, it's ridiculous. Is he going... They got 40% of black males age 50 to 72, that kind of deal?
Die-hard globalist who wiped out your steel...
Oh, die-hard globalist. It means he's friends with Jews.
Mills, closed down your factories, killed your coal jobs, outsourced your industries, and supported every terrible and disastrous trade deal for more than 47 years. He was a
You think phase 1 of the China deal is great?
cheerleader for NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals ever made. By the way, USMCA just kicked in. It's great.
By the way, look at the color of his face and the hands. I take back what I said about the makeup blending. I think it was just from far away the camera work was, the camera was making up for the deficits. Now, but you can, right along here, you're seeing a line.
USMCA is a great deal, just kicked in. Your companies aren't going to be moving to Mexico or Canada anymore.
Yeah, the coal mining will not be moving to Canada.
That I can tell you. Biden enthusiastically voted for China's
Did we lose a bunch of factories to
entry
Canada?
into the World Trade Organization, decimating your manufacturing and enriching China at your expense? And you were
Well, clearly no one there works for Walmart.
really one of the biggest victims. This state, you lost 50% of your manufacturing jobs after Biden's NAFTA and China disasters. They were disasters.
Unrelated.
He signed it
Asterisk C. Andrew Yang.
along with other people, but he was one of the people that pushed it. Decade after decade, vote after vote, Sleepy Joe Biden
40 out of 100 African Americans that came to the White House meeting said they'd vote for him.
has betrayed Pennsylvania. You know that. He repeatedly tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. You didn't know that until a week ago when we started showing you the clips. And that was Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they did. It's a video from the 90s when they were capping all federal spending. Like, how fucking dumb.
Is the one that exposed him on that. Now, after years of economic
Thanks, Richard
treachery,
McNeil.
he wants to
Mark.
ban fracking, and he's going to. And what about his running mate, his wonderful running mate?
Ooh, brown lady.
They They asked her about fracking. She's only said about 300 times there will never be fracking. Now she said, no, Joe wants it, right? But she said it was the Harris-Biden administration. That's the first time I've ever heard of that one. She came first. No, she's nothing special.
She's nothing special. No, she's actually quite special. She's the first woman of color on a major presidential ticket to be the vice presidential candidate. She's on the winning ticket so far. She's an accomplished woman. She was a DA. She was a prosecutor. She was the AG of California. She became a senator. You're a dickhead.
Never was. I can't believe she was picked, actually. Nobody treated him worse than her.
And it's weird. And yet, he was able to build a bridge with somebody who supposedly treated him badly. Why wouldn't he get a ball cradler like Mike Pence?
Plus, she was a disaster. Her poll numbers were going so bad. She left before Iowa, right? Before the vote. Her poll, she started off at like 12, and then she went to 10, went to 8, went to 7, went to 5, went to 4, went to 2, went to 1, went to 0. Then she said, I think I'm going to get out of the race. And she treated him so badly, what she called him and everything else. And then he said, I'd like to announce that I'm going to pick Kamala to be my running mate. You can have them both. You don't have to take my word.
You can have them both. What? I mean, he's full of the zingers today. Man, this is just rock solid.
We have Joe on tape. Now, I only do this when a location's very important to me, because this thing
Yeah, they're dragging a screen everywhere.
cost a fortune putting up this tape, okay? But look at this crowd, so you can watch what Joe says. Go ahead, please, roll the video.
My guess is right side will cut to it, because this is their feed.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
When you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent
Yeah, don't put his answer or anything.
normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
How exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
The rising China
Finish the thought.
is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development.
Yeah, because you don't want 400 million people starving to death. If he'd have said it about India, you think they'd have given a shit?
It's in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise. China is a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion. China is not our enemy. We talk about China.
Yeah. The president just sold them all of our soybeans.
As our competitor, we should be helping. The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre. The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre. China is going
Yeah, because of our initiative, not because. Yeah, well, never mind.
to eat our lunch.
I mean, this is a Sanders ad.
Come on, man. They're not bad folks. China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which you supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which you supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
By the way, Jake Tapper is not saying that. Jake Tapper is repeating what Trump said in that. He opens that same piece, I think, with the president says, duh.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
Today, we're finally ending the NAFTA nightmare and signing into law the
Listen to the music. It's the same shit they play behind him at the White House.
new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Very special.
Very special.
It's hard to overstate the importance of the USMCA. This is the
But please play a Fox News contributor.
Single
biggest head you've ever seen coming out of a necktie.
bipartisan legislative victory for this president and this administration. It
Super special and very expensive to put the screen.
is a huge deal.
I'm sure it's taxpayers.
Wage growth is better than it has been since 2009. That means it is better than it has been for 7 out of 8 of the years that Obama was president.
The new USMCA has
Oh my God. Why would you choose the clip where your face looks that orange?
called for protections to keep auto manufacturing jobs. Since
How is he not embarrassed by video of himself? I don't know.
the election, we've created
China doesn't suck. The CCP is a problem. People themselves are okay. It's just a horrible situation. You know, it's
41.
It's like Russians. Russians are okay. It's Putin and the leadership and the oligarchs and the kleptocrats that are the problem.
1,000 brand new motor vehicle and parts jobs.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA.
And with Biden will be.
I've never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Yeah, by phasing it out. Look at the cuts, man.
Guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
Yeah. Over 50 years.
No more. No new fracking.
No new fracking. There you go.
I'd gradually move away from fracking.
Gradually move away from fracking. Gradually. Gradually is kind of an important word right there.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
Yeah, on public lands. And?
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipeline infrastructure and
Yeah, no new pipeline. Exactly. Like, this is so weak.
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
Phase out. Phase out. And? Phase it out. Over decades.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I have one final question.
Would he close down the oil industry?
It falls.
Or would you close down the oil
By
industry?
the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big
In
statement.
terms of business, that's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry.
Like, I don't know why you would play that clip, because it shows your followers that A, you're trying to make a cheap political point, or B, you're so stupid you don't understand the words that just came out of his mouth.
Will you remember that, Texas? Will you remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
Joe Biden and President want to ban fracking and kill American jobs, which is precisely not what they said. This is so, honestly. And here's the thing. They're playing this video, mainly, this is the campaign, trying to get him to shut the shit up for a little bit. Let us say that part, because you're screwing the pooch. Yeah, that must be Pennsylvania Workers for Trump. See, there's a campaign placard that they turned into a graphic. Seriously. Like a 20-year phase out and they're going to destroy your job. Literally, like even last time, like Hillary was arguing, we need to help coal miners transition out. There's not going to be there are no new coal fields or plants. There aren't. They're not going to be. Why would you? It's not necessary. That's why he's like, we're selling coal to Vietnam. Yeah, because we're not making any new plants. We don't need them. It's stupid. They pollute. They poison the water. Like one of the reasons, like West Virginia and Virginia, they like poison Eastern Kentucky and Eastern Tennessee.
So you never heard me say that. That I can tell you.
heard you say what?
Now, isn't that great? It's a very expensive
It's such a good
deal, but it saves me a lot of work because there's nothing does it better than that, right?
I rest my case. They don't trust him to make the argument.
A vote for Biden is a vote to
Trump Pence, 4 more tiers.
For your jobs, ban fracking, and deliver economic ruin to Pennsylvania and to your families. In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this corrupt far-left political establishment.
No. Pennsylvania was like, and they leaned one direction towards an outsider over Hillary Clinton. If Obama and Biden could have run again, they'd have won again. There is no question. There is no question in anyone's mind that if Obama had been running against you, he would have it would have been brutal. That I can sell you, yeah.
And you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first.
Just want to look something up real quick.
With your vote, we will continue to fight for American workers, lower drug prices. You know what we're doing on drug prices? Had the first year in 52 years where drug prices came down, prescription drugs led.
Because 3 went generic.
Year, but we're doing favored nations, so we pay the lowest in the world. Right now we pay the highest. And the drug companies don't like me too much, I can tell you that. They're spending more on advertising than Sleepy Joe. Support our police, protect our Second Amendment, which is under siege. Defend our borders, maintain energy independence, and ensure more products are proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA, right? We will deliver record prosperity.
Okay. Just real quick. I know this is a lot. This is Wikipedia. We normally don't go there, but this whole America First. America First has been used as a slogan by both Democratic and Republican politicians. At the outbreak of World War I, President Woodrow Wilson, remember him? Look into his racial feelings. Used the motto to define his version of neutrality, meaning let's not fight Hitler. As well as journalist William Randolph Hearst, the motto was also chosen by Republican Senator Warren G. Harding during the 1920 presidential election, which he won. America First is best known as a slogan foreign policy advocated by the America First Committee, a non-interventionist pressure group against the American entry into World War II. Gee, why wouldn't we want to enter into World War II? Why would the America First Committee not want us to do that? Let's see. The America First Committee was the foremost United States non-interventionist pressure group against American entry, and launched on September 4, 1940. The committee principally supported isolationism for its own sake. But many communists made the use of the AFC. Basically, they were anti-Semitic. So, yeah. Let's see. Emphasize American nationalism. The America First Committee's membership peaked at 800,000 paying members in 450 chapters and popularized the slogan America First. While the America First Committee had a variety of supporters in the United States, the movement was marred by anti-Semitic and pro-fascist rhetoric. In later periods, the slogan was used by Pat Buchanan, who praised the non-interventionist World War II First Committee. He's also the "we should have left Hitler alone, he was really right to invade Poland" story. Buchanan's call for America First foreign policy has been compared with the America First Committee. Yeah, because this is the same friggin' dudes. Pat Buchanan is a frigging racist. Hands down, no question, full stop.
Epic job.
The America First was World War II. Beg your pardon, Eric, if I misspoke. So the America First thing was about not getting into World War II, and mainly because they didn't want to intervene. They didn't want to basically stop the camps. They didn't want to stop the camps. They wanted to let them roll for as long as possible. And then if they started to roll into more of France, the idea was, we'll just hang out. They can have Poland. Who gives a crap about Poland? They're just enslaving all the people and making sex slaves out of all the women and working the men to death and killing the children. But, whatever. It's just Polish people. And the America First campaign was cool with that, just like they were cool with the Jews being killed. And they figured if they moved into France a little bit, then we would just push back in an alliance, kind of Chamberlain style, with Germany. So, anyways, there you go.
A safe vaccine that quickly ends the pandemic, and we're rounding the turn. They hate it when I say it.
They don't hate it when you say it. They hate it because it's not true and you're full of shit.
With or without, we have the vaccine. It's going to be great. We have numerous companies, all great ones, but we're rounding that turn anyway.
It's so gross. Like when he does that, it reminds me of Rudy Giuliani's hand on. Never mind.
Rounding the turn. We understand the disease. We closed it up. The greatest economy in history. We closed it up. We saved 2 million lives. Remember, it was going to be 2.2 million lives.
If you did nothing.
We saved 2 million lives.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Because the rest of the government would have kicked in and not let you let 2 million people die.
And we're rounding the turn. Normal life. That's what we want. Normal life.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are voting against you. They, like I said, they got this.
We'll fully resume. We'll never forget what China did to this country.
Normal life will fully resume. Yeah, when you're off Twitter and in prison.
What China did to.
Seriously, like the SNL sketch this week where they were like, "What do we do if he's not, if he's not president anymore?" And they end it with, "Well, he's going to be a nutcase afterwards, and there will be a trial, which will make the OJ trial, look like a parking citation."
World. And next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country.
The year after that has potential for a big boost. Next year is not going to be the greatest. People are going to have to restart their businesses. A lot of things are going to be slow lag.
And that's where we're heading. If you look at the job numbers, automobile numbers, if you look at housing, I gave
used cars,
working families, record-setting tax cuts. And in my second term,
look at that. He said record-setting tax cuts. Notice he didn't say the biggest tax cut ever.
I will cut.
That's an interesting edit.
Middle class taxes even further. Give you the largest tax cut. The largest tax.
I'm basically paying you for your votes, Pennsylvania.
This is the craziest campaign, right? So all my life I watch politicians running. They always say, "We are going to cut your taxes," right? We are going to cut.
Yeah, that's what Biden is saying. Biden is saying, "I'm going to keep your taxes low. I'm going to raise taxes on people who should be paying 28% instead of 21%. They were at 35%. They went all the way down to 21%. They can be at 28%, and it's not going to seize up the economy."
I got a guy running now who's sort of shot. He goes...
Sort of shot, is he? He's sort of shot, is he? Why is a guy who's shot beating you by 8 points in the state you're standing in?
"We will raise your taxes." I said, what the hell? I said, did he just say that? Yeah, he's going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country.
Oh, that's nice. Look at that. He's going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. Look at that. He just said Biden is going to give you, let's see if he corrects himself, but he just said that Biden's going to give them the biggest tax cut in American history.
Yeah, he's going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, including regulations and all the other stuff, which made it so good for us. This election is...
Wait, does he think he's Joe Biden now? Oh, that's why it says I'm winning in all the polls. So that's my Secret Service name is Biden. So if I look at the polls, anytime it says Biden +4, it's me, and you made it secretly blue. Okay, can we just go with, he just confused himself and Joe Biden.
Your taxes. I said, what the hell? I said, did he just say that? Yeah, he's going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, including regulations and all the other stuff, which made it so good for us. This election is a choice.
Right? Isn't that what we're watching? Didn't we just see a grown man confuse himself with another grown man? Who's shot now? Who's the one that's shot? Seriously. Like, he's flubbed a few things. He definitely messes up some words with great regularity. This is the first time he's full-on confused himself with Joe Biden. And the audience knows it. There's a little bit of silence there, like, what the fuck?
Trump super recovery or a Biden super depression. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a depression if you go with this guy. It's a choice between a boom.
Oh, I was wrong. They didn't even clap at that shit. I was mistaken. I thought they were going to...
recovery or a Biden super depression. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a depression if you go with this guy. It's a choice between a boom and a lockdown. Who wants to lock down your country? You're already locked down with your governor. Wolf, Governor Wolf. Here's a beauty for you. Sure, Governor, we trust you to count our ballots, Governor. We trust you. And it's a choice between the rule of the people or the rule of the corrupt political class. If Joe Biden and the
You mean like Jared and Steve Mnuchin?
Democrat socialists.
Oh, thanks.
And that's where you're heading. And I always said, this country will never be a socialist country.
He gets a big, huge cheer.
Never, ever be.
Yeah, I know they're not locked down in Pennsylvania. It's super weird.
But if Joe Biden and his Democrat socialists are elected, they will delay the vaccine, delay the therapies.
You mean make sure that they're safe and they don't give you rheumatoid arthritis in 4 years when you take it because you're 45 years old?
The pandemic, close your schools. They're already closed. Open them up. Open up those schools. And shut down our economy. And we're doing...
Schools aren't, like, are they? They're doing part-time in person in Pennsylvania, aren't they? Like a lot of places? What is the hell? I gotta call this up now. Right? Does anybody know? Yeah. Any schools? See. Yeah, they opened. They're already opened. PA. This is from September. PA schools among safest states for schools to reopen. Study finds. Study looked at 15 key metrics: average class sizes, where they've been. Let's see. Are Pennsylvania schools open? I think he's just stuck. Let's see. COVID-19. Just trying to find a story. Let's see. Yeah, so this is, anyways, this is the Pennsylvania thing. Guidance for resources for opening schools during there. Let's see. Here's the pre-K to 12 guidance. Recommendations and public health guidance. There's all the reports. You have all these stuff. Roadmap for education leaders. Instructional days and hours. 2020, 2021. Section following. Whenever an emergency shall arise, well, this is that's in the thing. Trying to find the actual, like, an article on the school schedule that just shows that they're open. They're friggin' open. Yeah. So, anyways, like, it's just really odd that he hammers that. I just don't think he knows what difference, if there's any difference in the states. He just thinks if it's a blue state, they've got to be. I will do sit-ups at the end of the stream, I promise. Let's see. We'll keep playing.
Coming back with numbers like nobody has ever seen before. I tell this, last week, the end of last week, the Atlanta Fed projected GDP for the third quarter, it's going to be announced just before November 3rd, of 35%.
Okay. You mean it's up 35%? First of all, okay. He means up. He's done this a couple times now. He means it's up 35%. Well, it was down 33% or something like that, depending on the way you look at it. So and this is the weird part, Is it up 35% since April when it took a huge shit? Because if that's the case, that's horrifying news. And if they say it's back up to where it was, then what part of the GDP is actually made by the millions of people who are still out of work? You're telling me GDP is up 2% for the year with 20 million people out of work? What is he talking about? He means up 35%. The problem is up 35% from absolute, a huge drop.
Nothing ever even close. I think your record is 8%. 8%, 9%, 35%. And he...
Yeah, it's a record. You were in a hole. Jesus Christ. If I climb out of a 10-foot hole and I jump, I now have an 11-foot standing jump, okay, from the ground, because I went 11 feet up in the air, even though I was in a hole 10 of the feet.
Wants to close it down. Not a good idea, Joe. Biden says he has a plan for the virus, and he doesn't. He just copied. You see what he did? He copied our plan.
He's had his plan out for months.
He copied our plan. Everything he's proposed, my administration has already done, including...
Except for the part where you actually look at the treatments and the vaccines with an independent group of scientists to make sure that everything is above board and not forcing the FDA to push through shit that may not work and may have really serious physical ramifications later. Because honestly, this asshole has no concept that the antibody treatment that he took could very well cause him to have early onset rheumatoid arthritis or an autoimmune disorder when he's older, because skin could start peeling off. Like, this is friggin' dumb.
Mass production of rapid tests and PPE we've done. And what we've done with the ventilators is incredible. We weren't prepared with ventilators. Our hospitals didn't have them. Our governments didn't have them. Our federal government didn't. We went into a production of ventilators, the likes of which they've never seen anything
since World War II. Yeah.
Like it since the end of World War II. Biden does.
By the way, don't mind. Senate's going to vote on Barrett. I have no doubt it's going to go through because the Republicans have the votes, I think. So I'm not a glutton for punishment. I don't need to see it. I'll learn the vote later. Yeah. Did he say the PP we done? We'll look at that. So I'm just, by the way, just this. May I? Thanks. This is from July. We've done PP. Is that a Russian problem? Hold on.
Our federal government didn't. We went into a production of ventilators, the likes of which they've never seen anything like it since the end of World War II. Biden doesn't know how to defeat a pandemic. His own chief of staff said that when he managed the H1N1,
was it before that?
Which he always reverses. Swine.
No, he doesn't always reverse. He did it once. And if by the way, if we're supposed to take everybody the first time they screw up a phrase like that, we're supposed to take them seriously.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Flu, the swine flu, a much less lethal flu. It was an outbreak. He said, quote, we did everything possible and we did everything possibly wrong. Since the introduction of ventilators, governments didn't have them. Our federal government paired with ventilators. And what we've done with the ventilators is incredible. We weren't prepared with ventilators. Our hospitals didn't have them. Our governments didn't have them. Our federal government didn't. We went into a production of ventilators, the likes of which they've never seen any.
Did I miss it? Was it before that?
Administration has already done, including mass production of rapid tests and PPE we've done. And what we've done.
Well, sure. As you do.
Including mass production of rapid tests and PPE we've done.
Well, I hope you changed your diaper before you got out there. Damn it. He's going to Dude, he just followed. He just said pee-pee. And then he's going to say Biden flip-flop H1N1 and said N1H1. When, by the way, there's tape of him of Trump saying the N-word. He's going to worry about an inversion of
plan. He copied our plan. Everything he's proposed, my administration has already done, including mass production of rapid tests and PP. We've done.
Hello. All right. Well, there we go. That's an audio drop. You got to have that one added there. PP, we've done. We have done PP. News for Jackson. Come in. I'm not sure I want to.
And what we've done with the ventilators is incredible. We weren't prepared with ventilators. Our hospitals didn't have them. Our governments didn't have them. Our federal government didn't. We went into a production of ventilators, the likes of which they've never seen anything like it since the end of World War II. Biden doesn't know how to defeat a pandemic. His own chief of staff said that when he managed the H1N1, which he always reverses, swine flu, the swine.
Well, he never called it pee-pee. I'll give him that, though.
Flu, a much less lethal. It was an outbreak. He said, quote, we did everything possible and we did everything possibly wrong. We were a disaster. 60 million Americans got H1N1 in that period of time, and it's just purely fortune that it wasn't a mass casualty. He said, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. That's
why they set up the pandemic response team, because they realized that the federal government was woefully unprepared for a circumstance like that. See, that's why they responded. They went, oh, we have a deficit here we weren't aware of. We were working on all this other shit like Affordable Care Act and taxation, getting, the auto bailout and all this kind of stuff. We had our plate pretty full, and then you just dollop this big turd on there. And we weren't prepared to deal with it. And we better have a system in place in case the next one is worse. That's why they created the pandemic response team, which you got rid of. And the result was the next disease came right on schedule and you shit the bed.
Comes in. He should have closed it down sooner. But 2.5 months later, he was saying I shouldn't have done the ban to China. I shouldn't have done the ban to Europe. If the H1N1 had the same fatality rate as the China virus, over 2 million people would have already perished based on the way they ran it. It was a disaster. And his own person said it. It was a total, he said, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And now he's going to come in and help us. This guy.
Yeah, they learned from their mistakes. Something you are currently refusing to do.
Can't help himself. In an interview that aired last night, Biden said he opposes letting young Americans resume their lives, which was an interesting statement. 99.98% of those under the age of 50 recover, and most recover very quickly. But Biden wants to keep them locked down in their homes while letting rioters and looters run wild. So in Pennsylvania, you can't go to church, you can't go to restaurants, you can't do anything, right? But if you want to have a nice little riot, if you want to have a protest.
Oh, God. We deal with this all the time.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? That's why we call everything a friendly
protest. Peaceful protest, asshole. You can't even screw it up. You've got signs right there. They hand them out. It's not friendly protest. It's peaceful protest. That's the phrase that was used in the news. That's the signs you guys hang out. This is so dumb.
Protest.
Are there still rioters and looters? No.
We're allowed to be.
Are there? And by the way, the only violence in the streets happening right now are his supporters showing up at polling places with guns and planning to kidnap governors and Biden and Harris.
Think of it. You can't go to church, but if you want to burn down Center City, we have no.
Thank you, Can't Stop Lying, for telling me that. Cosmic Rose, bless you. I don't have my watch on today, so I may not be seeing Venmos. I apologize if I'm not, guys. That's my bad. My watch is upstairs, and that's usually what gives me warning. So if I've missed one, I apologize, and I will. I offer you my fondest gratitude.
Problem with it. I'll tell you, we're bringing our country back, but if you think it's easy with these people we have to deal with? The Biden lockdown would crush America, and my plan will crush the virus, and we're going to have a boom like you've never seen before. like you've never seen before.
That's because you count when we're, they're going to the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair, so they had a roll call vote. They're going to go live to that? Or he's having a, hold on, see if I can get a, is there any audio in the, not so much, okay.
When the China virus arrived, we moved heaven and earth to fight the disease. We banned all sorts of things, everything we could ban. We airlifted medical supplies, built hospitals from scratch. Look what we did in New York, the convention center. 2,800 beds. Then we put in the ship.
Hold on. You built the convention center from scratch? You built hospitals from scratch? Good God. And procedural votes. Yeah, I saw that. Play. Or you're not playing. Jumping back and forth.
Banned. We airlifted medical supplies, built hospitals from scratch. Look what we did in New York, the convention center. 2,800 beds. Then we put in the ship. Unfortunately, Governor Cuomo barely.
Okay.
Ms. Stabenow. Ms.
Is that-
Stabenow.
if he-
No.
Would have used it for
Votes. That's the sound of the vote happening in the background, by the way.
great seniors. He wouldn't have caused the death of 11,000 people, seniors, and 40,000 people.
Wait a minute. Secondary audio? Is that just fan audio? Hold on. Some noise coming from this guy. Sorry. Do it. There you go. Coming from
Overall, slashed red tape, pioneered groundbreaking therapies, reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that. Think of it. I mean, look at Regeneron for me. And by the way,
that had nothing to do with it.
We're going to make Regeneron available to anybody that feels.
85% of the presidents that have taken it are doing well. The other 15% are losing their frigging minds. We don't know whether Trump's in the placebo group or not.
They want it, need it. Same as I have. Free.
No, it's not free. Taxpayers will pay for it.
Free.
At no charge is what you
The vaccines that are being produced, it's not your fault, it's China's fault. We're not forgetting, and the vaccine's going to be free. It's going to be distributed free to everybody. We will deliver.
Yeah,
100
thank you. Like 9 people, thank you. And everybody was like, I'm not taking that shit.
million doses of a safe vaccine before the end of the year, maybe quite a bit sooner than that. Seniors will be the first in line for the vaccine, and our frontline workers too.
You can experiment on them. I got it.
We'll break through every obstacle, which we've already done. Use
Barrett's confirmed. Yeah.
every resource, and I will not rest until we eradicate this disease that should have never come to our shores or to the shores of the rest of the world. Should have never come. Never forget. We will vanquish the virus, and we will emerge better, stronger, and more unified than ever before. If Biden and the Democrat socialists are elected, they will raise your taxes to a level that you've never seen before. Bury you.
Actually, they won't. They've seen 35%. They're gonna go up to 28%.
Borders. They don't want borders. They want open borders. They even said maybe we'll take down the wall, which is now almost
You mean all the repaired wall?
complete. You know, the wall is almost complete. Just what the Border Patrol, I said, give me the best.
By the way, not only was Mexico going to pay for this wall, but it was going to go across the entire southern border, right? Did we not talk about that? Like, nobody said we need we need a wall of about 550 miles. The rest of it, I mean, it's a 2,000-mile border or whatever, but we need about 550. He didn't say that to his supporters.
Give me your specs. I said, let me use concrete plank. I want to use concrete plank. It's quick and it's cheap. Michigan gave us Motang. They said, sir, we can't do that. We need steel, concrete, and then rebar. Oh, I said, that's great. We gave them everything they wanted. We're now beyond 400 miles, and it'll be finished very soon.
It's going to be finished, and it's only 500 miles, and the border's 2,000 miles. kind of shitty wall is this? I'm guessing we already had barriers in all of those areas. Yeah.
It's amazing. It used to be all about the wall. They never thought I'd get it built. It used to be all about the wall.
Because you're not.
Well, because we had the Democrats would do anything not to have. Remember all the work and every day front.
Then you had to divert funds from the Pentagon, and you're just repairing or extending barriers that already existed.
The wall will not happen. It will not happen. Now that it's almost finished, you don't hear about the wall anymore, right? They don't talk about it. The fake news media doesn't talk about it. Look at how many there are over there, too.
We're going to the cameras now.
That's a lot of valuable equipment. That's a lot of valuable equipment.
Your one is too loud again, probably because he's screaming in the mic. Sorry.
And Mexico is paying for the wall, by the way, in case you had any question. That's the other thing. So now they know it's built. Then they said, but Mexico will not be paying for it. I said, no, Mexico is paying for the wall, okay? But they'll figure that out
in your head
soon. They'll confiscate your guns, terminate religious liberty, and destroy the suburbs. Women of the suburbs,
get a gun and pick your God.
You must love me, I can tell you. I'm saving you suburbs. I'm saving. I got rid of the regulation that was going to destroy your suburbs. Unless you like crime, which you don't like, right? No, they were doing a new thing about 3-4 weeks ago. They said, suburban women don't like Trump. He's losing suburban. I said, why? Wait. But that's only because I know two things about suburban women. They don't want a regulation that is brutal, that's going to build low-income housing next to their house. Okay? They don't want that.
Again, this is just a real estate grift.
Project. We call it a project. And they don't want crime in the suburbs. And you know, Antifa says that's the next place they want to head. They're not heading to the suburbs. And you know what?
What?
As soon as I say those words, they want law, order, they want safety, they want to have their families be safe. And then they say about, I think we're going to do very well with suburban women. We have a lot of suburban women right here. We got rid of a regulation, and Ben Carson, a great guy, said, well, sir, you know, it'd be a lot easier if we just amended it, made it.
Because he could put a black guy in charge of low-income housing. Jesus Christ.
A little less onerous. It's horrible. It's horrible. With you.
Literally, he thinks HUD is just for black people. That's his opinion. That's the way he's like always thought of it as a developer and everything. Like, it's just for poor black people. Like, this is
zoning, and they've changed the zoning, and you can do whatever you want and ruin everything. I said, no, Ben, let's terminate it. Well, but if we do, it'll be easier. No, Ben, let's terminate it. Let's just terminate it. I said, do it.
Anonymous gifter. That's lovely.
That's a tough one, but we'll do it. And we terminated it. It's gone. Now, if Sleepy Joe comes back, you know who's going to be in charge of it? Cory Booker is going to be in charge. Mm-hmm. Cory Booker, the former mayor of Newark, New Jersey, who never lived in Newark. I don't know how he got away with that one, Mike. Never lived there. They will censor you, cancel you, and indoctrinate your children.
That's a lie, for the record. Let's see. Let me pull something up for you guys real quick, if I may. I have to wait for the page to load. Give me a second. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we'll find this on here. Here you go. This is just a good example of Cory Booker. Newark mayor saves a woman from a fire. Mayor Cory A. Booker of Newark carried a woman out of a burning house and was treated for smoke inhalation Thursday night. Mr. Booker arrived to his home in the Upper Clinton Hill neighborhood to find his neighbor's house on fire. Upper Clinton Hills, by the way, in Newark. The fire department has not yet arrived, she said. And Mr. Booker went inside with two members of the security detail and rescued one woman. The mayor was treated at a hospital and released at 11:30. Everyone is okay. Ms. Torres wrote in an email. Thanks to all who were concerned. Just suffering smoke inhalation. We got a woman out of the house. We're both off to the hospital. I'll be okay. Mr. Booker, who had returned home after taping a television interview Thursday night, wrote again on Twitter shortly after midnight, thanking a member of a security deal who helped get all the people out of the house. It was unclear how many people were saved. The mayor told the Star Ledger that he had suffered burns on his hand. Said his security detail had at one point tried to block him from going back inside. So it's, you know, I'm sure Donald Trump has a a similar story. This is probably just, this probably never happened. This is probably Trump's story, and Cory Booker pretends it was him. That's why his face is orange, because he got burned running into that fire.
With anti-American lies, but we don't let that. We don't let that happen. You saw that 2 weeks ago. Joe Biden has made a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party.
Corrupt bargain is biblical language, by the way.
His nomination.
They mean deal with the devil.
He has handed control of his party
It's a dude.
over to the rage-filled socialists, Marxists, and left-wing extremists, right? Because Joe doesn't have a clue. Let's not kid ourselves. Joe, how you doing, Joe? Not well. Oh, I got to say, wait. So the polls, right? So winning 52% and 53%. Not bad, right? And that's national. That's
Jesus
almost
Christ. This has all been a wandering pile going back to this. He walked out with this goddamn
as crazy
thing.
as it is, it doesn't mean anything. Nevada, Trump is up by 2. Texas, Trump is up by 4, much more than 4. Remember, guns, oil, and God. I'm on their side. He's on the other side. So let me ask you, maybe even more so than if a candidate is running in Texas and he said, we are against oil. I think that's it, right? But now add guns to it, and now add religion.
Did you ask him about that? Was there ever a, are you against guns? Why are you against guns, Joe? I mean, you zingered him on phasing out fossil fuels. Maybe you can get him on phasing out bazookas.
And that's what they're doing. They're closing your churches. Your churches are all closed.
So that old people don't die. You're an asshole.
It's terrible. It really is terrible. Ohio, we're up big. Ohio, the great state of Ohio. We have great people in Ohio. Jim Jordan. Do we like Jim Jordan? Everyone. NCAA wrestling champ. People don't know that about Jim. You know about Jim. NCAA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know. I gotta be honest. Most of the time when Jim's around, I look the other way. It's just out of respect. This is from 2013, by the way. Claim that Booker resides elsewhere, which his opponent alleged Monday is a desperate stunt. His campaign says property records and documentation of rental payments put Booker in Newark, where he served as mayor since 2006. Cory Booker's campaign said Monday that the mayor does in fact live in Newark, New Jersey, the city he has governed for 7 years, a response bolstered by property records and documentation provided by his office to recent allegations made by his opponent and the website The Daily Caller, that's Tucker Carlson's paper, with just 3 days to go in the New Jersey special Senate election. That's why they're trying to shoot him down. There is no clear evidence to support claims that Booker lives elsewhere. Caller, a conservative news organization, shitrag, let me translate, published an article late Sunday night asserting that Booker, the Democratic frontrunner in the race, never lived in Newark. The piece quoted 2 longtime anti-Booker activists and city council regulars Donna Jackson and Cassandra Dock, who said they haven't seen Booker, only a security detail around either 435 Hawthorne Avenue, where he formerly rented a unit, or 19 Longworth Street, which he has owned since 2011. Story's author, independent journalist Charles C. Johnson. So the dude has 2 places in Newark. That's not enough for these folks. Wrote that looking inside the windows of both properties confirmed they were vacant. Right. The house is always filled with officers. Yeah. So Cory Booker, in the entire time that he was there, just couldn't afford furniture. He had these fake properties, but he never bothered to furnish them. Okay. That house is always filled with officers. That was a police station, so he can't possibly live in a police station. It has no furniture, but it's a police station. Okay. Booker's Republican opponent, former Bogota Mayor Steve Lonigan, picked up on the story, hosting a news conference Monday afternoon outside the Hawthorne Avenue apartment in the city's South Ward to discuss his opponent's commitment to Newark and truthfulness concerning his residents. In an email to supporters announcing the event, Lonigan's campaign listed the press conference as location of Cory Booker's purported residence. Lonigan said, I don't believe he lives in Newark. In a statement, Booker's communications director, Kevin Griffiths, called the allegations laughable and desperate. Cory Booker has lived for 16 years in some of Newark's toughest neighborhoods, including for 7 years at Hawthorne Avenue, fighting every day to make the city a better place for its residents. This is in a Daily Caller story that they've been wanting to push forever. So there you go. Just throwing that out there.
A real tough guy and a great guy. Florida, we're up 4. Just came out. Rasmussen.
Yeah.
Georgia, we're up very nicely, 4 or 5, but we're really up much more than that. Don't forget, if we're up 4, add another 4, 5, 6, 7 to it. I'm not sure I'm proud of it, but people don't want to talk about it, right? They don't want to talk, but they vote. They vote. Arizona, we're
Yeah, nihilists, Lebowski, we believe in nothing. Wow, that must be
up
exhausting.
in Arizona. We're up in Iowa. We're up big in Montana. Well, Montana, we're up really big.
Yeah, you think?
We're up in Utah, and we're up 22 points in West Virginia. But you don't hear this when you watch.
Yeah, those are states you're supposed to get.
They're suppression. They want to give you negative stuff. They're suppression. They're very dishonest people, but that's okay.
Yeah, let me read they gave me a list of outlier polls. Are they all from Rasmussen? All right.
Dishonest last time, too. Worse, actually, right? But you got to get out. You got to get
Wait, they were worse last time? Hey, Gonzo.
out and vote. We got to put this thing away. We win Pennsylvania. We win the whole ball game.
No, not actually. You have to take 2 other states. Yeah, West Virginia's red. It's silly.
So,
yeah, the original cost was 4.4, not 5 billion. Got down to 3.9. Air Force tests bring Trump's cost to 5.3 billion. So easy to debunk him. He's always lying. That's what I said. So he brings the base price down, and then they just let the budgeting run away with
yes,
it.
you know, you're known as a late voting state, right? Very late, right? Which is a good thing. Who is going to vote soon? Who is going to vote on November 3rd? Yeah, you're one of the few, right? Yeah, you don't like a ballot sent out and then thrown into a garbage. No, you know, you're known for it. It's called smart people.
It's called smart people. By the way, how do they know if they want Democrats to win, how do they know which votes are Democrats and which votes are Republicans? Not a little code on the envelope, and you use a privacy envelope or it'll get thrown out. Privacy envelope is literally so the person can't judge who's voting.
Who is going to vote for Sleepy Joe Biden?
Oh, this is his poll.
Only if you have the courage. Only if you have the courage to raise your hand. Please don't do it. Please don't. Who is going to vote for President Trump?
It's your rally. This is so weird. Nobody who's not a complete fart sniffer of Trump's would show up at one of these things. But you think somebody's on the fence? I'm on the fence, so I think in the middle of a pandemic, I'll go down to a super spreader event where these assholes aren't wearing masks and rumble around in the crowd.
We're going to have a big, they call it the Great Red Wave, and they're waiting for it. You know, all these ballots came pouring in. These crazy ballots are pouring in from all over. They send the ballots out. Nobody knows who's sending them, who's receiving them, who's
Secretary of State does.
signing them. You know, they want to have a thing in Nevada where you don't have to prove signature. You know, minor things like that, right? But they're going to have a wave, and they're all saying about the red wave. But
they prove your signature, and they have it's a 3-step process.
The Great Red Wave is going to be.
There is no undecided. There's just lazy voters.
Much bigger than people have any understanding about. I think.
Yeah, this is the poll where he thinks he's winning.
But you hear those numbers. You don't hear those numbers when you watch the fake news. It's suppression. They want to make you nice and depressed. So you take your wife or husband, you say, you know, I really like the president, but he can't win because I listened to fake CNN or I listened to Fox. Fox, by the way, Fox has the worst polls of all.
Yeah. Shit talk Fox for a minute. This part I can enjoy. Let's just let this roll.
Years ago, too. They have the worst. I said, they have the worst. Do you hear that, John Roberts, who I like a lot? They have the worst. He's right there. Hi, John. They have the worst pollster of anybody. Fox is terrible. They got it so wrong last time. But you listen to these polls and you say, let's go to dinner, darling, and then we'll go home. And sadly, we'll watch television. But you know what happened 4 years ago? Everyone said, no, we're not going to dinner. We're going to vote. Right?
No, a bunch of people did that to Hillary.
Hillary with her statement about.
Yeah, I saw that. The Air Force One owner's manual costs $84 million. Yeah, because it's secret. It's not $84 million to print it. It's $84 million for the group that gets together that explains the functionality in top secret and the clearance involved in it. A huge deal.
The deplorables, right? The deplorables. Well, the deplorables decided to vote. That was incredible. Was that incredible when she said that? Who would have thought that was so bad? It was deplorables. She actually said a worse word than that, right? The irredeemables. Remember, she said the deplorables and the irredeemables. I thought
she said some of them were, they're the deplorables. They're irredeemable. But she was saying there's a bunch of Trump voters that are actually okay. You don't lump them together, and you got to reach out. It was actually a lot more mitigatory.
Redeemable was worse than a deplorable, right? But it didn't catch on. The thing that caught on was deplorable. And the next day I was making a speech like this, and it came out, we are deplorable. And they came out by the millions. That shirt sold like crazy.
Look how happy he is. It's like they're singing him happy birthday when they yell lock her up. They've tried, assholes. They can't.
The fake news, every time that happens, and now it's happening with Biden because that's a crime family, frankly. But every time that happens, when they say lock,
he's sleepy and his son can't, you wouldn't trust him to go get you a quart of milk, according to Rudy Giuliani, and nobody knows what's going on. But they're also a crime family on a level that matches the Gambino family or
lock him
the Gottis.
They always blame me, and I have nothing to do with it. I mention a name, and the place goes crazy. They said, you incited that. I said, I didn't even talk about it. You see that fake show last night, 60 Minutes? I did a good job. That
fake show, 60 Minutes? What was fake about it?
It was a very hostile attack by a woman that knew nothing.
By a woman that knew nothing.
Biden wins, the flag-burning radicals on the streets will be running your government. You know that.
Yeah, he's totally gonna, who's gonna be the Secretary of Antifa in the Biden administration? Have they picked anybody yet? Is it just, they're gonna have just like rotating high school shooters that are just gonna, I'll do it, but only if I can wear my hoodie.
Look at Portland. We want to go into Portland.
Jesus Christ, nothing's going on in Portland.
Oh, we did a great job. If you look at Seattle, we said...
Did they show the Amish standing behind him? No.
We're going in. And the night before, they said...
He's got the Pennsylvania Dutch vote?
Okay, we're leaving now. Because, we have to be asked in. The federal government has to be asked in. And then we did a great job in Minnesota. Minneapolis, they should have told us to go there a week and a half early. It would have been nice. It would have saved a lot of destruction.
A week and a half early was before George Floyd was killed.
Remember the CNN anchor?
I think we're talking about the same time period.
Velchi, he said, we are here. They don't want to talk about riots because it's bad for them, We are here at a peaceful demonstration. And behind him, right over his shoulder, the entire city is burning down.
Okay, this is again shtick.
Right? They had a fire that looked like Berlin on its worst day. The whole place was burning down. And then he said, the military has formed. Well, it was a great group of people. You saw that, the National Guard. And it was 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden they started 1 line, 2 lines. And they just marched forward. That tear gas. Didn't Velchi get hit on the knee with tear gas and he went down? They said, he's down, Velchi. I don't even know who the hell Velchi is. I just remember.
Yeah, you do. He used to do the finance stuff on MSNBC. You watched it with all the other finance people. Velchi's not Velchi's been pushed left by this circumstance currently. But he and Stephanie Rule were the finance people. I used to do their show.
Did a little shave job on his head. I was thinking about doing it. I was going to do a little, but I decided against it.
Well, it'll be. You should save it for when you're in jail and the Peckerwoods want to, make you a member of their gang.
I didn't want to go down 25 points in the poll. Allie.
Your head's that poorly shaped?
Velchi, he got hit on the knee with tear gas, right? And he went down. And he was not the bravest guy. But I'll never forget.
The bravest guy? He was standing there during a riot and got shot with tear gas in the knee.
Scene of him saying, "This is a friendly protest," and behind
peaceful protest is the phrase. You're the one scrolling. This is, I
never saw fire like that. It was the craziest thing. But we did a great job. We sent in the National Guard, and the National Guard, it was over in what, a half hour? Max. They just started walking. World's most expensive uniforms. Their helmet costs like a giant computer.
A helmet costs like a giant computer.
They
just genius. Helmet costs like a giant computer.
Computer board.
And you know, there was something very nice about it after watching what went on for a week and a half. But all of it, we could solve it all. All they have to do is ask us. The federal government is waiting, and it's always run by Democrats. New York problem, run by Democrats. Chicago problem. How do you like her as a mayor? Isn't she wonderful? Run by Democrats. All run by Democrats. This election day, the people of Pennsylvania need to defy the corrupt media, the big tech machines, and you look at what they're doing. They're protecting. They won't write anything negative about a man who is corrupt. They won't write. There is nothing they will allow to go in. And the forces trying to keep you down and hold you back. It's the most incredible thing. And I give great credit to the New York Post, who endorsed me today, by the way.
Oh, good. Yeah. So the Weekly World News has has Bat Boy voted for you? Hold on one second. This is interesting. Check this out. See if they have the actual audio. There it is. Play.
If you were advising a campaign, which of the Democrats would you want to go ahead?
By the way, this is Kayleigh McEnany in 2015 talking on the radio.
I would say Joe Biden is who I'd want to go head-to-head against for the reasons you just articulated. That being said, I think the Republicans run into a problem if it is Joe Biden and if it is maybe a Trump on the other side, because Joe Biden, one of the things he is remarkable at is really kind of being a man of the people and resonating with middle-class voters, feeling like coming off as human. You know, his gaffes, as much as we make fun of them, to a certain extent they make him look human. So in that sense, he's likable. So while, you know, I think Joe Biden would be an easier person to beat, I think, at the same time, you know, we've got Hillary Clinton's mistrust or mistruths. We have someone who is not a good politician, so it kind of is a toss-up, really. But I'd say at the end of the day, probably Joe, although if Trump is against Joe, I think the juxtaposition of kind of the man of the people and kind of this tycoon is a problem, although Donald Trump remarkably is coming off as a man of the people despite being this, you know, wealthy business tycoon.
It's one of the things
Yeah, that's her basically, yeah. Kayleigh McEnany once praised Biden as a man of the people who resonates with the middle class over a tycoon Trump. Sorry, so sorry that was loud.
Because they're the only one with the courage to do it, and they're out there. It's great what they're doing. You must stop the anti-American radicals from doing what they're doing.
What are they doing? This is so, you know what I mean? There's so many anti-American radicals out there.
Anti-American radicals from doing what they're doing.
Yeah, man.
You can't let the Democrats and Joe Biden have a far-left victory. This has to be a thundering defeat, not just a defeat. It has to be a rebuke
Oh, it will be.
of socialism.
I don't think he's sweaty. I think he's glistening because I think it's fairly chilly there right now.
And as corrupt as he is and all the things his son is like a vacuum cleaner.
Oh my God, the vacuum cleaner reference.
Let me follow you into China, Dad. Dad, I'm going to be managing $1.5 billion. Have you ever done it before, son? No, I haven't, Dad. I have no idea. They've never done a deal like that. China doesn't do that. They don't give other people money to manage. But
what?
You know, the scary part is that, remember, the big guy gets 10%, right? The big guy.
Yeah, meaning the chair, President Xi.
The big guy. I don't think he's the big guy. The big guy gets 10%.
So make up your mind then, because if you're going to say that, then by God say...
And the big one with China was they wanted $10 million a year for introductory purposes. So $10 million a year. I wonder what that was all about. That sounds...
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like they want to introduce themselves... Hold on. To funds... I have a Velcro thing around me.
reasonable number. Then Ukraine, $183,000 a month to sit on a board of an energy company with
and make sure the money goes where it's supposed to.
a questionable reputation. Sit on the board, and he has absolutely no knowledge of energy. This young person sitting right here,
This is running. You know more about energy than Hunter.
very young, knows more about energy than Where's Hunter. I call Hunter's real first name is Where. Where's Hunter? Remember we made the t-shirt?
Yeah, that was so cool. Remember when we made the t-shirt and people gave a shit about that? And everybody on my campaign tells me to shut the crap up about Hunter. It's not working, but I'm going to stick with it. My instincts got me here. And by here, I mean in debt to Vladimir Putin up to $600 million and all my golf courses flatlining.
Joe wants to send
Is it the same speech? It's always the same speech.
your jobs to China while his family rakes in millions and millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, they want him to win. Can you imagine? I'm charging him billions of dollars in tariffs. Joe said he would take those tariffs off of me. Billions. I gave $28 billion to the farmers in Iowa and Nebraska, all of the farmers, because they were targeted.
Yeah, $28 billion. That's 20. Just in case you know, that's 25% of $10 billion in Trump world. See that healthcare book Kaylee handed over to Leslie Stahl? It was gigantic. Stahl said it was full of executive orders, no healthcare. Yeah, it had like policy papers from the Republican Party in it.
And Joe wants to take the tariffs off. I gave him, remember, I 25% dumped steel. They were killing our steel companies. 25%, and our steel companies have been doing great now. If Biden wins, China wins.
Yeah, tell Pennsylvania how great their steel industry is doing right now. Oh, wait, you didn't give any of those special breaks to Pennsylvania because you thought they were a blue state. You gave them to Minnesota because you thought it was
When we win, America
within reach.
If I don't sound like a
Thanks,
typical
guys.
Washington
Thanks for the hype. I appreciate that.
politician, it's because I'm not a politician.
Thanks for gifting the tier 1 sub.
It's okay. And I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment. It's because I was elected to fight for you harder than anyone has ever fought for you before.
Unless you have COVID, or you know someone who's got COVID, or you're near anyone who got COVID, or you have a parent, a sibling, or a mate, or a child that might get COVID, not you. Choo-choo.
You think this is fun? I had a good life before.
Jesus, this one again.
You think this is fun? I had a good life before this. I had a nice, beautiful. I could go anywhere. I could do anything. Thank you.
Jesus. You think this is fun? You people suck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, that's a chant they say they've never, ever heard in politics. I won't repeat the chant because I don't want to cry. I'll start crying. Now they'll say, President Trump broke down in tears today. We are joined today by a couple of warriors, real warriors.
Which, if it was another politician, you would mock. You can't say crying Chuck a bunch of times about Chuck Schumer because he wept about something horrible like Newtown.
And great people. These are people
And then cry yourself because people like you.
that have been with me day and night fighting this movement, this horrible left, radical left movement. Congressman John Joyce.
All right, we'll skip him screwing up the names.
By the end of the evening, I think he regretted it, but he'd never say. He's a powerful guy. He's a great guy. He loves everybody, and they love him. Mike Kelly, Congressman, as well as State Senator Judy Ward. Thank you for doing.
Very exciting.
We built the greatest economy in history, and now we're doing it again. Make America great again, right? Remember?
It's so goofy.
Make America great again. We did it, and now we got to do it again, and it's happening much faster than anybody could have believed. We increased
No, it isn't.
middle class.
I mean, it's goofy. Like, this is ridiculous. But this is a man who thinks that jobs returning is gross.
Family income over
we've been through this.
$6,000.
MAGA.
More than 5 times the gains in all 8 years under the last administration. It's really something, right?
If you uniformly combine the years and average them out, asshole, not the last 3 years.
Did you see the crowd that President Obama had today? Nobody showed up. I thought they'd have a little crowd. Didn't quite have a
He would get huge crowds. They don't allow it.
crowd like this. No, nobody showed up. They said he's going to start campaigning. I said,
Yeah, all of a sudden, nobody's interested in seeing Obama. He's old news, you know.
Barack Hussein Obama. I said, is that good or bad? Because, he campaigned harder than Hillary the last time. How did that work out? It didn't work out. But he went to a few locations. He's averaging about 25 people. He's averaging very little. It's disappointing. African American unemployment, Hispanic American unemployment, Asian American unemployment, people with
Never got any closer to white unemployment.
diplomas from high school, without diplomas from high school, college diplomas, MIT first in your class, everybody was employed. Women had the best they've had in 71 years.
Yeah, I know. Amy Coney Barrett is now Justice Barrett. I know that. And by the way, that was a fait accompli when this asshole got elected. Sorry. RBG was 1,000 years old. This is our fault, not hers. That's not, it's not the Senate's fault. They did everything they could.
Their lowest
Oh, this is right side Gonzo. They always show the crowd.
levels ever recorded. Since April, we created a record, never happened before, 11.4 million jobs. Just April. We achieved the most
Yeah, like, he didn't create any of those jobs. People went back to work.
It's because of the wall, largely. And Mexico has 27,000 troops at our border protecting it for us. I said, you got to do that. Good man. President of Mexico, good man. My opponent's insane immigration plan would eliminate U.S. borders by implementing nationwide catch and release. That's where you catch a killer.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's, you catch a killer, and yes, we are winning this election.
You release them into our country, and we say,
But this has to be a trouncing. I do agree with Trump in that one respect. It has to be a trouncing. We're not, in any stretch of the imagination, allowing this guy to steal this by letting it be close.
come back in 4 years. You have a court case. And remember Joe at the debate? He said, oh, they come back. They don't come back. Only the ones with the extraordinarily low IQ come back. Nobody comes back. They don't come back. We never took that one up, but remember we had a little argument about it. He said they come back. They don't come back.
Yeah, they do.
Making every...
And it's not murderers. They don't let murderers go. They don't let drug dealers go. If people have family here and they've got a case for asylum, they were in another country, they have family in the United States, they fled a country that's at war, let's say they're Irish and they have family members here, and this is during the time where the IRA is bombing places, and the Catholics and the Protestants from England are having a big battle, and they're worried about their lives. They can flee the United States, and then they get a court date, and it's 3 years away, but they don't have to stay in detention that entire time, because who wants to pay their room and board and their medical care for that entire time? So you give them, you release them to the recognizance of their family. Because the idea is they want to stay, so why would they want to screw with that?
community...
Half of them don't even require the actual hearing date before. They come back to another thing. They respond to, yeah, so.
Sanctuary city for violent criminals. We're not going to do that.
Not
They
gonna
want
do it.
sanctuary cities for violent criminals. The Biden-Harris...
No, you don't have sanctuary cities for violent criminals. As a matter of fact, the specific thing for sanctuary city, the specific part of sanctuary cities is that they are to protect people who have, there's no reason why ICE needs to storm in and snatch them up.
plan would also increase refugees 700% from the most dangerous places in the world. They pledged to
Yeah, so that the people who aren't dangerous can flee to here. They're vetted.
terminate all national security travel bans. I have a travel ban. It was very tough. People didn't like it.
Thanks,
I
Bluesman.
said, no, thank you. I don't want people that want to come into our country.
I don't think anybody's ever said that in all of Twitch. Love you. I don't want to even say it's love you, Hal, but I don't want to say it because I'll start crying. And they'll say, Hal started crying Because people loved him, and
blow up our stores and our streets and our people. And I put in a very
means he's talking about Mike Kelly, not Mark Kelly. Yeah.
strong travel ban, and we won in court. We won at the United States Supreme Court. You don't mind. And we keep out radical Islamic terrorists.
And Coptic Christians and Muslims who are not violent, and you just leave them to die in the sand. I get it. That's really what it's about.
We keep them out.
We don't want the peaceful, moderate people to leave those areas and come and to a place where they're safe and push for reform.
Invested $2.5 trillion in our U.S. military.
Thanks, guys.
2.5 trillion with a T. With a T. See, Joe would say, we invested $2.5 million. I said, no, it's trillion. Oh, it is? Oh, I didn't know. You know, the worst is when he constantly is saying that, number one, he's running for the U.S. Senate.
Is he constantly saying that? Is he really?
Yeah, look. Free health care for illegal, yeah, look. Computer board. The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Okay, most of those were one-offs, but this is something he says all the time.
But to me, Corona means Italy.
It means Verona.
But to me, Corona means Italy.
So, yeah.
I'm a proud Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. Thank you very much. That's only happened 3 times. But the word Iowa values.
Tell us about Iowa values, though.
For Iowa values. First of all is when he says, like, tonight. It's great to be in the state of Ohio. No. Joe, you're in Pennsylvania. No, it's Ohio, isn't it? Or when he was in Idaho and he
You just thought you were him.
said Iowa. It's great to be in Iowa. No, it's Idaho. Potatoes, remember potato. The Idaho potato. You can climb right over their face.
What was that about potatoes again, though? Hold on one second.
You'll have nobody guarding your potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Or when he's in Miami with the trees, beautiful palm trees. A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua. And he says he's in Vermont. It's great to be in the state of Vermont. And you have palm trees all over the place. And I always say, if you ever do that when you're speaking, I haven't done it yet, think of it, in 4.5 years. Michigan gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot. If you ever do that, just walk off the stage because there's nothing you can do to make up for it. You could Yosemite be the great Winston Churchill. You know, he was a great orator. Winston Churchill wouldn't make any difference. They say the speech was a disaster.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
Also passed VA choice and VA accountability.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We've done it a bunch of times. Obama did in 2014.
And exactly 1 year ago today,
Just a straight up lie. Just a straight up lie.
we killed the leader of ISIS, bloodthirsty al-Baghdadi.
Bloodthirsty al-Baghdadi. Okay, he just landed that one for the first time. He'll be saying that at every rally going forward.
Soleimani is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Iran nuclear deal, think of it, 1.5, think of it.
And
They have
billion in
1.8
cash.
billion in cash, 150
Yeah, it's their money.
billion dollars
Yeah, their money.
for nothing.
It was frozen. Frozen accounts. It was their stuff. They were frozen during the sanctions. They would release the frozen funds if they didn't pursue a nuclear weapon. They didn't pursue a nuclear weapon. It's their money.
Got nothing in that deal.
And we were paying interest on
In
it
fact, the deal would
because we were holding it in violation of international law.
be almost terminating that.
So why would we want to pay Iran interest?
Short-term.
Why would taxpayers want to pay more money to Iran than we were holding in accounts?
What were they thinking of John Kerry? Remember he went into a bicycle race, he broke his arm and his leg? I kept saying, leave the table, get up and negotiate tough, leave the table. So he left, went in a bicycle race, he didn't come back for 2 months. Should have stayed out much longer than that. What a deal that was. and we terminated it.
Jesus, this is just pitiful.
The heads of Iran, because they are losing a fortune, and I don't want that to happen, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They cannot have it. They'll call and make a deal. I said, you better wait.
Right.
You better wait till
When
after
Biden
the
wins?
election. Let's do it right. I recognize the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Every president said they were going to do it. Every president for decades and decades said they were going to do it. What?
Oh my God, and this is we're
cost
going to
and
add
no
to
blood. Countries now, and we have countries lined up to get in the deal, and they all said you couldn't do it this way. I reversed it because it wasn't working.
I was like, oh, what if we give weapons to Israel's enemies and they promise not to use them, but on paper?
I reversed it. And we just did Sudan, UAE, Bahrain, and there's a lot of countries. They'll all be in there. They'll all be in. No blood in the sand. No blood, Mike. No blood in the sand. No cost, no nothing. They've been fighting that stuff for so many years. They all want to see if they can do something.
Okay, the Middle East is running out of oil. Oil is becoming less valuable. They're having a hard time justifying the existence of their country on a resource that has nothing else. And they recognize that the future of being isolated and just living off the revenue from oil the clock is ticking. That's what most of this movement is about.
For Republicans is a vote,
right?
And I mean truly a vote for the Republican.
The transition from Trump to Biden, it's going to be nuts. Although I think Christmas, like the December, he'll have given up. November will be weird. There'll be a bunch of pushes. I think it'll be strong enough where there won't be any real fight. You have to have standing in the other cases for them to hear it. And if I was a smaller court, I would go, okay, we'll hear it, but we're not going to do an injunction. You have to make your case. So let the clock run out while you're doing it, like they're doing a timeout.
Vote for the American dream, if you think about it. It's the American dream. It's the American dream.
It's the American dream. A second-generation rich kid who bankrupted a casino. You know, that old chestnut. It could be any of you guys. You think you might try starting a war? No.
You know, we're the party of Abraham Lincoln.
How do I stay positive? Because I've been through some awful shit in my life. Really, really genuinely awful stuff. And I was able to get up on my feet and keep walking in that. I'll do the exact same thing in other situations. I got a 9-year-old kid. I'm not going to give up on life or his future no matter how shit goes.
People don't know that. The great
That's how.
Abraham Lincoln, a man that I've always competed against, I said,
Abraham Lincoln. That's who's been driving me. Every time
I can be more
this is like what you call it? Jojo Rabbit. But instead of an imaginary friend who's Hitler, he's got an imaginary Abraham Lincoln he's always just better than him, standing just over his shoulder.
And the man that I've always competed against, I said,
what?
You know, we're the party of Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people don't know that. The great Abraham Lincoln, a man that I've always competed against, I said, I can be more presidential than any president ever, except for the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln when he's wearing the hat. That's tough.
This is so ridiculous. I'm in sexy liberal mode right now. By the way, the show's still available. If you haven't seen it, sexyliberal.com, you can get a ticket and watch the show. It's in on-demand status, so you can watch there's a lot of sketches I don't post and stuff like that. So if you want to watch it, that'd really help us out. Meanwhile, tell your friends, pass along the link, sexyliberal.com for tickets. But I don't know if any of you have seen Jojo Rabbit, but doing a Jojo Rabbit sketch about a little kid, Donald Trump, who's constantly tormented by this imaginary Hitler would be so fucking funny, but nobody would get it except us.
I can be, actually. It'd be easy. Much easier than what I do. It'd be much easier, but we wouldn't have quite this audience, which goes back to a point where you can't even see.
What? The fuck?
The hat. That's tough. I can be, actually. It'd be easy. Much easier than what I do. It'd be much easier, but we wouldn't have quite this audience, which goes back to a point where you can't even see it.
Oh, so you're basically saying that's why Biden doesn't have the crowds you do is because he's being presidential. By being dignified and presidential, you don't get a huge crowd. You just become liked and cared for. Jesus Christ.
Have the cameras show it, but they don't want to do that.
Oh, right side. Well, you just told them to. They're going to turn.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to show it.
Right side always shows it.
I don't want to show this crowd because it'll look like we're having too much success, and they don't want that. So in conclusion...
No, it doesn't. Looks like the same assholes from last time.
Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world.
Why haven't you done it already?
And we will end our reliance on China. We're already doing it.
What about foreign oil and oil in general?
We'll hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban
no problem, DeMarie.
deadly sanctuary cities.
You've already said that shit.
We will uphold religious liberty, free speech,
guns
and
and
the
guns
right
and
to
oil
keep and bear arms.
Right? Yeah. Like for all you Jesus-loving gun nuts out there, for all you anti-gay homosexuals, we in Pennsylvania salute you.
Your Second Amendment under siege, but we've got it. We've got it okay for you. We will Amendment under siege, but we've got it. We've got it okay for you.
That sounds like a tremendously confident statement.
We will end surprise medical billing. Require.
I haven't seen any sexy liberal. Which should I try first? The last one's really good. It's not like they're in order. I mean, all the sketches are good. I stand by them. So pick any of them. Yeah. They're all different. They're not, it's, part of it's just, some of it's related to the news of the time, but you've been with me through all this stuff. You guys know all the references I'm going to make.
Price transparency, a big deal. It's already signed, goes into effect on January 1st.
You better like me.
Bigger than healthcare.
Which is just ridiculous.
Watch.
What do you mean bigger than healthcare? Hey, guess what? We know exactly how much your treatment's going to cost. Oh, yeah? Yeah, we can't afford it. What?
Lower drug prices even more, and
hey, Sarah.
We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, always.
How? And is the orange fading now? Like before, like I said, at the beginning it looked like it was more even, and it looks like it's moving forward. Does it slide off his face because of gravity or wind?
We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education.
Yeah, we've heard this part.
We will teach respect our great America. The timeless.
Yeah.
Apologize for America, for the great people of Pennsylvania. Standing up. I am relying on you to deliver another historic victory for our country. On November 3rd or sooner, we must finish the job and drain the swamp. It's deeper and more vicious than we thought.
Oh, well, why didn't you drain it? You've had 4 years. Why isn't it drained?
But we got him on the run. Boy, do we have him on the run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that where Bill Barr is? Is he on the run?
Think of it. They spied.
Yeah, or sooner he means because early voting has started in the state.
On our campaign, it's our
That's the best they can come up with.
Campaign. They spied what they did to us, and this new one is just incredible. I say it's number 2.
New one?
Number 1.
Oh, thank you, Gonzo. Appreciate it. Thank you for the Venmo. I don't have my watch on right now, so it doesn't give me the heads up.
They spied on our campaign.
They spied on our campaign. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The last thing that Bill Barr ever released to the public before he disappeared into the Bermuda Triangle was that this is a bunch of shit.
And then they tried to harm a duly elected president. And then they talk about peaceful...
Harm? How'd they try to harm you, asshole?
Transition. Now, what we did, and the fact that we were able to catch him and fight him and beat him, and we know everything about him, watch what happens. Just watch what happens.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm totally... Guys, hold on. I'm going to hold my breath.
Get your friends. Get your family. Get your neighbors. Get your coworkers. And get out to vote. You got to vote. You got to get out to vote.
Yeah, nothing. So yeah, I'm not going to hold my vote.
From Allentown to Altoona, from Erie to Easton, and from Pittsburgh to right here in Martinsburg, we stand with the shoulders.
You stand with the shoulders? You stand with the shoulders, do you?
Right here in Martinsburg, we stand with the shoulders. You like this location, right?
You mean their hometown? This location. Okay, he just gave it away. Basically, everybody there just drives in from all over the fucking place. So there's like a bunch of people there from Kentucky and all this other stuff, and they all drove in, and they're in Martinsburg, following around. He's like, you like this location, huh? Location? You're supposed to be talking to the people of and about Martinsburg. You're in an area.
You like this location, right? We stand on the shoulders of Pennsylvania patriots
He had to go back and fix it.
who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this
Thanks.
beloved
Thanks,
nation.
Pauline.
This is the state where our founding fathers declared American independence. Think of
It
Pennsylvania.
did. Think about what it means in the history of this. I didn't even know. Like, I'd never seen the Liberty Bell
what
before.
you've done. Think of how important it is. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge. Forge, where General George Washington.
Founding Fathers? Did he say Founding Fathers? The Founding Brothers?
Think of what you've done. Think of how important American independence. Think of Pennsylvania. Think of what you've done. Think of how important it is. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington. They will not be touching the Washington Monument, I promise.
Yeah, no, they won't. There's.
Led his men on a daring mission across to Delaware, and where our Union was saved by the heroes of Gettysburg. What history. This is the place where generations of tough, strong Pennsylvania workers mined the coal, worked the railroads, and forged the steel that made America into the greatest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. And we are making it stronger and stronger every single day. Proud citizens like...
No, you're not. The deficit is 6 times what it was under Obama. What are you talking about?
Are returning power to you, the American people.
Yeah, whatever.
We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going
to keep on... God, what's he going to say? I don't... Let's see.
On winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Pennsylvania, we have made America powerful again. Our military, never been a military like we have. We have made America wealthy again. 401ks, stock market.
I love his like little chorus. It's like a Jim Gaffigan bit. He's just always got to be having somebody. In case you don't know what the shit I'm talking about, which you probably don't, because nothing's adding up.
Made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much.
Dance now. People gotta dance. Hold on, let me see if I have music that I can play during this. Let's do this one. Hold on. Nope, that's not it.
President of the United States.
Nope, that's not. Hold on. We need something else. That's too slow. Hold on. Hit. I'm clapping and clapping. Wave, clap, 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 clap. Biggie, biggie, boogie, boogie, woogie, diggy. Just did like the worm there for a second. Yeah, doopy dap. And clappity clap, clap. Doing the clap cause I got the clap one time on a trip from... Thank you very much. I just farted. That's how you know. Finger point, point, thumb point. Clap, clap it, clap it, clap it, clap, 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 clap. I kinda start to feel it now. Clap it, clap. I don't have the rhythm, wave, fist pump, jerk off. How you go? Hand job for you. And we clap it, clap, clap, fist pump. That's right. Hand job, hand job. Hand jobs for everybody. Clapping on, clapping now. And hand job in my face. Wave, hand job on my forehead. Just let it go, run down my face. Hand job. Clap it by a wave, point, point. Hand job for the hand job on the left. It's like a skier cause they're doing the thing. And a hand job in the ring. I could clap, but clappity clap. Point at you and thumb up your butt when I give you the point, 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 point to point, and a whack. Right in the balls, and a whack it and a wave and a clap it, clap, clap, point, point, and a point to point to point. One last hand job for everybody after clap it, clap, hand job, hand job. And we do what we got to do right now. We clap it, a thing don't fall down the steps, and a clap it, clap, and a bow point. And a hand job, you, and a little side tug, and a hand job, and a clap it, clap. This is a much bigger stage than I remember. And a hand point, clap, clap, hand job, wide hands, and double hand job, and a clappity clap, and a fist hand job just come in my hair, and point, point, thumb up your butt. Gonna get around and grab you by the nut, cause I do the hand job, and a clappity clap, and a hand job, and point, point, point. Wave to you like Hitler, don't take a picture, cause I'll get so busted. Clappity clap now, clappity clap crap. They close the helicopter now, a point thumb up your butt. Clappity point, point, point. And I clappity clap, a hand job on my face now, right in the eye, and I wave as we go. Whackity do, don't fall down, you old man. All right now. Walk to the steps and a couple extra claps and a double hand job just for the road, one hand job. That's right. Toss it in my hair, little bit in my ear, on my eyebrows. Come on, get it out now. That's right now. I'm walking away and I give you a wave. There's Kayleigh McEnany. Somebody say a wave and a hand job. That's not my. Why are they selling by a coin? Look at these Hitler coins they're selling. There's a coin in the Delta Force dog that Trump let die. Now let's go make the money now, cause I'm really here to make some money, cause the coal mining guys are honeys. Alright, getting the beast, no sir, you have to ride in the back, you're president, now get in. We shut the door, time to go, and he's getting a hand job before you know it, cause here we go now, and we're taking off, ready to go, alright. Okay now, alright, this is ridiculous. So, obviously for next time, what I'm gonna have to do, yes, he's gonna try to do everything he can after he loses the election. Before the next show, I'm gonna have to find a loop. He's not even leaving in the helicopter. He's going to a fundraiser, and then he flies back down and does the Amy Coney Barrett thing. I'm going to find a loop that I can use that's the same tempo as YMCA. I think that's what we have to do. Yeah, he had to be assisted down the steps. Yeah. Somebody gave him a hand. Yeah. He was so busy giving a handy to everybody else, somebody at least gave him a hand. Okay, Lansing, Michigan's tomorrow. I'll be in LA doing that one. West Salem, Wisconsin tomorrow. Probably I'm in LA too, Omaha. And then Wednesday, Bullhead City, Arizona, and Phoenix. Oh, that would be a good one. Ask Randy Rainbow if you can use his music. Does he have a cover thing of that he does? It's almost a YMCA thing. And this is the Democrats are on the floor going, "This is a travesty," and as they should. They're playing the pickup of this other thing or whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to sign off, guys, because I'm actually hitting the road tonight. I got to go to LA, and then I've got a show this Sunday. I've got to go there and come back, and then go back again. But I've got a show in Los Angeles this Sunday, live at Flappers. Now, it's going to be streaming. You go to flapperscomedy.com, and you guys can watch the show and get tickets there. And the money goes to Flappers. I don't take a dime. This is to help Flappers keep on its feet during the pandemic when they can't have audiences and that kind of stuff. So, under normal circumstances, as you know, anybody who's a Patreon can come to my shows for free. And that applies to any upcoming live shows once they start up again. You can come and bring a guest for free. You'll be on my list. If I come anywhere near you, hello. If I do a show anywhere near you, you can come to the show for free and bring a guest as a Patreon. But in this case, because the money goes to flappers, I ask that people buy a ticket and watch it or whatever. Because I don't. Biden-Harris logo looks like the Van Halen logo. That's pretty sweet. But just for the record, I'm doing that show this Sunday. So if you want to watch a comedy show that's not political, even in the lead up, most of my stuff is non-political when I do regular stand-up. That'll be this Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. It should be a good time. And if any of you want to watch it, can you buy a ticket and watch it later? No, it's they don't have a they do it like a Zoom thing. So it's real. It's genuinely live. That said, Patreon people, I will have a copy of it after they give it to me, and I will post it later. But I don't want to do it immediately because I think we'll end up with the hand job song as a clip. Sure. I mean, Can't Stop Lying. That's clearly going to be a pull from the shit. I mean, weird. It's going to end up being a viral video. I just know it. Watch the one thing that becomes viral from all this work, months and months of 3 hours a day, and then that one chunk of me just going the improvised hand job song is going to be like forget Queer as Folk and Lab Rats. It's just going to be wiped away by that one moment. It's just how shit happens. Anyways, so the show is to benefit Trump divine intervention. Oh God, try harder, folks. But the show at Flappers, I'll post later, but much later, because I don't want to eat into their funds. They need it. So I'm doing the show to help them out. Is the hand jive public domain yet? That's a good point. I don't think so. I don't know. Because that's off the Grease soundtrack, right? That's always, they re-up that one all the time. Video is going to be a pull. I know, the forehead hand job thing is just, I mean, come on. It's what he looks like. It's like he's just reaching up on the bleachers, giving somebody a tug. It's so funny. Anyways, so there's people waving at the right side. People are giving the finger to the media who are there filming everything this asshole does. Oh, it's an old Blur song? Yeah, but okay, I don't know. Hand job boogie? Okay. I would have to look into that. If you guys find a hand jive song that's in the public domain, send me a link on Twitter, please. But until then, I'm not gonna. Oh God, I was sorry. I was referencing the video, thinking you guys were looking at it, but I was watching this happen. They're all like people up on the roof up there, like packing up shit. This is the government workers and everybody that's there filming this stuff. This is all the campaign video that they're using, because they're going to, in the last few days, they're going to show the look at all the people who want to be around the president videos, and not recognizing that it's tone deaf and bullshit. Look at this dude. Oh, he's wearing a wall coat. Well, hold on. Look at this. Right side, everybody. And she dyed her hair. She lightened her hair. She's phasing into blonde, I bet you. Her hair was way darker before. There's another girl too who has really dark hair, but she lightened her hair too. And then he's dressed as a wall. It's a slat fence. Guys on the roof are snipers. Yeah, I don't doubt it. But there's also a film crew up there. I don't know what this.
I'll be at that one, and then in Goodyear, Arizona, right outside Phoenix, also on Wednesday. And
so great. Oh, God, I can't wait. I'm so excited for you and for your tailor. Jesus. Oh, I think she was just interviewing this dude, and he goes to all these. This is one of these people who, he's like an evil Drew Carey. This guy, okay, so what she's interviewing a guy who, he's not part of their crew. He goes to all these rallies, and so he's becoming a regular next to them. Eek. No, there'll be a show tomorrow. I'm just doing it from LA. So, yeah, he's a brickhead, right? And which I don't know why he would dare to wear that suit. you know, at a Trump rally, you know.
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
Maybe he's talking about him. Ouch. All right. So, all right, I got to go. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Thank you guys. Thanks, Can't Stop Lying, for all your help and everything. Thanks to everybody who joined me today. Thanks for the Venmos and the support and the bits and the subscriptions. Thanks everybody over on, I think Facebook was working today. I can't break out the chat on there yet, and I'm still working on it. So I'm sorry if I ignore the Is the Grateful Dead. Thank you guys so much. How's Trump already in Washington, D.C.? Because he was just in Pennsylvania. It's a short flight. Oh, my God. Look who's there now. Diamond Silk are selling their book, Uprising. Oh, my God. I have to tell Frangela about this as a sketch. I'm not playing the audio from this. I just think it's funny with the sound off. What? Bullshit. I'm not going to say. I don't understand. How would you pee? And you forget? Agin? Paga? Owe. Yanabadine. I don't know. I'm just like doing a bad lip reading. Wax and push you first down the stairs, will you whopper? Yeah. That was an ad. That wasn't even them as guests. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I got to take off. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. See you later. Have a great night. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Thanks. I got to go drive to LA. Woohoo! Wish me luck. Yes, you can get into LA line before I leave. Here it comes. Get ready now.
Free health care for illegal Biden will deliver pessimism. They come after us from every angle.
I don't read, obviously. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
Eurasia. But to me, Corona means Italy. The Burmese executives. So these Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese. Burmese. For Iowa values. For Iowa values. For Iowa values. Legal.
First Lady's doing great, and I would say fully recovered or just about fully recovered, but we are fully recovered, and I am.
Struggle for civil rights. Immortal. We take principles. Special pride in the nation that inspires billions of people all over the world. We must never take this radiant inheritance for granted. We must never lose confidence in our history, our heritage, or in our heroes.
I don't read, obviously.
To reach for the stars, we must stand upon the strong and sturdy foundation built by those incredible Americans. Company that his son worked for. Just as Barrett, as you take your oath tonight, the legacy of our ancestors falls to you, the American people. To me, Corona means Italy. And their faith in you as you take up the task of defending our laws, our Constitution, in this country that we all love. Legal give you wisdom and courage. I know you will make us all very legal as long as we are loyal to our founding and to our fellow citizens. America's future will be bright. America's destiny will be great.
I don't read, obviously.
People will forever and always be free. For Iowa values, Barron is beautiful and he's free. Legal and the Burmese company that his son worked for. That's Burmese. There's no more water pouring through, and they become very, very, they just explode. And then voila. And then voila. And then voila. Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Bags of soup. They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.